Welcome back to the show. This is episode 6 of our Batman Begins commentary. If you're following along at home with a digital copy, we're covering Timecode 43 minutes and 7 seconds to 59 minutes and 43 seconds. And joining me today is Shenmue. How's it going,
Yeah,
Shenmue?
good, thanks. Good to be back again. No more complaints about a goody two shoes dad this time. It's going to be,
Yep, everyone is corrupt,
yeah, everyone's
jaded,
corrupt.
conflicted, and very grey.
That's how I
So
like it.
we have a lot to discuss on this episode, so I thought we'd just jump straight in. So we're treated to this beautiful aerial shot of Gotham City as Bruce Wayne's private jet passes overhead. What I liked about this shot, it's all CG by the way. Do you think it's convincing?
I,
Because we're,
I,
we're
I,
looking at 20-year-old
yeah,
CG now.
like it looks pretty good, but it's. I think if you look at it as a general thing, right? Like if you're not looking too closely, it's pretty convincing. But as soon as you start looking at buildings, and it's like, oh yeah, it looks kind of off, doesn't it? There's that sort of usual CGI offness to it. I do think, like as like if you look, you're sitting further back and you're not looking too much, it's pretty good. Is it like full CGI as in like it's not even put on top of something then?
I think it's 100% CG.
Wow. That's like they've really made it hard for themselves doing that, right? But I guess it does give it a very unique look then. It doesn't look like any other
Well,
place. Actually, for a second, I did think it was Vancouver at first, like for very just at the beginning. I was like, oh, that's Van, and then I was like, oh no, wait, that's definitely not Vancouver, but because they do use that quite a lot in movies, right? But
well, remember that the Gotham map in Batman 89 is Vancouver, remember?
you're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course.
What I like about this shot though is you see like the island structure of Gotham,
Yeah.
and that is straight from the comic books. I mean, it's not the shape of the islands and the positioning of things aren't identical, but it's basically there. And obviously, you couldn't do that by filming in a real, like flying over a real city, because one doesn't exist that looks like that. So you'd either do it CG like this, or I mean, back in the old days, it would have been a matte painting or something, I imagine.
Mm. Yeah, and that would have definitely not looked the part, I think, for this. Because they've got the boats moving about and everything as well, right? It
Hmm.
does look cool though, I gotta say. It's like a nice little mood piece to like get the idea of what Gotham looks like and everything.
Then we go into the courthouse again. We've got Dr. Crane here, and he's recommending that Mr. Zaz be moved to Arkham Asylum. He's corrupt, obviously. Falcone's thugs, he's having moved into Arkham so they can avoid going to jail. We're going to see in a minute, Rachel says this is the third time he's done this now. And the judge, Judge Faden, who's also corrupt because we saw him previously in the film down at Falcone's club, and Falcone pulled a gun out on Bruce in front of everyone and basically threatened his life, and no one sitting there did anything. They just carried on drinking and eating. Yeah, he's like definitely in the employ of Falcone. So we're seeing like the city is corrupt on multiple levels.
Yeah, this guy, you could just see it straight away, like right, like he just looks like he looks corrupt. He just gives that air of it, right?
The man playing Judge Faden is called Gerard Murphy. And I thought, I've seen him in something before. What is it? He was in Waterworld. Have you ever seen Waterworld?
I don't think I have actually.
Have you heard of it?
What's No, I don't think so. What is
Ah,
that?
okay. So back in the 90s, Kevin Costner directed a massive blockbuster flop called Waterworld, and it was super expensive, and it just bombed at the box office. The critics savaged the movie, and no one went to see it as a result. It's always a film that I've enjoyed, though. Like it's sort of a guilty pleasure. It's I would describe it as Mad Max on water. It,
Okay.
it's
I mean, that sounds
post
kind of cool.
It's post-apocalyptic. The ice caps have melted, and as a result, the entire planet is flooded. There's not one island anywhere of dry land. It's just water. And the survivors are living on boats and they are sort of eking out an existence. The most valuable possession is dirt, if so they can grow things in a pot, and gas, like gasoline, so they can power their boats and things like that. The main bad guy in the movie lives on a giant old oil tanker, and Gerard Murphy, he's one of the sort of bad guy's lieutenants.
I do quite like the post-apocalyptic things where it's like something that is like a resource that now means nothing to us is suddenly super valuable. Like the idea of water being so important in Mad Max, or like even Fallout with the bottle tops or whatever. It's so funny. I remember when I first played Fallout and I was like, what's all these bottle cap thing? I just tossed them out my inventory. I was like, I don't need these. And then I
Yeah.
realized that was the actual currency of the game. I thought, oh man, that's so cool. This guy, right? Isn't he the Peaky Blinders guy? I don't know if you've seen
Yep.
that. Oh, it is. Yeah, yeah.
They're
Thought
making a
so.
movie of that now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the Peaky Blinders. I always think of Peaky Blinders just because he's like the main guy in it.
Do you like him as an actor?
Yeah, no, I do. I do like him. Yeah, I think he's a good actor, actually.
Here's
That
some
is cool.
information about Scarecrow from the comics. The character was introduced in 1941, so he's one of the like, OG
Wow.
Batman villains.
Oh man.
His inspiration was Ichabod Crane, the protagonist in The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, because of his sort of gangly limbs and his lanky appearance.
Yeah, yeah,
In the comics, his backstory is that he was abused by his grandmother, bullied at school because of his appearance, and that motivated him to seek revenge by using fear tactics on his classmates. The end result was that one of his tormentors was paralyzed in a car crash and another died.
bloody hell.
So that's the
Pretty
thing with
dark.
Batman is dark. Most of the villains in Batman, they all have sort of tragic backstories. They're often suffering some from some kind of mental health issue as well on top of it. It's not like, in other comics, the bad guys basically just bad guys. They want money or whatever. They want to rule the world, that sort of stuff. But like in Batman, it tends to be more of the psychological stuff.
Yeah, like everyone's got a tormented soul, right? Like the goodies and the baddies, really. It's like it's all everyone's just messed up.
He what Later on, he held a job at Gotham University as a professor of psychology, but then lost his job after firing a gun inside a classroom and wounding a student.
Oh man. Oh dear. That's amazing.
I can just see it, can you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh man.
Most
I
recently, it's been reinterpreted by Sam Hamm. That's the writer of the original Batman movie, who's currently writing a series of Batman comics, which is a sequel to Batman Returns in comic book form, as if
oh
Tim Burton had made more movies. And the Scarecrow in that version, the visual inspiration is
yeah.
clearly Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my God, really? I could see that too, though, actually. It'd be a bit different style, but
Because you
I could
have,
see him doing it.
because what
Jeff
the
Goldblum.
Because what the series is doing, it's saying, well, imagine if Tim Burton had made further Batman movies in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
Which actors back then would likely have been cast as like the Scarecrow, for example? Or, he would have had Billy D. Williams come back to play Harvey Dent from the first Batman. It wouldn't have been Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that's Scarecrow. Now we'll talk about Mr. Zaz. Mr. Zaz made his first appearance in the comics in 1992.
So
He's
much
a
more recent.
Yeah. He's a sadomasochist and serial killer who carves a tally mark into his skin for each of his victims.
Oh God.
And you can see it in this picture. Do you see the tally marks on his
Oh
neck?
yeah, that's true. Man, I didn't notice that before. Yeah, there's one going up as well, right? One going across, one
Yeah.
going up.
So each one of them is a victim. And if, I mean, we can't
I
see
mean,
it
it's
here.
only 10 victims there, by the looks of things. That's not many, right?
I think if you
I'm assuming
look
it's all
to
over
the
his
left,
body.
on the left, I think you could just about see some more scarring there, but it's sort of
Yeah.
shadowed. But yeah, if he took his shirt off, his whole chest and back would be cut, and legs and arms would be covered in scars. So Victor, he was once a man of means, having inherited his wealth. The death of his parents in a boating accident sent him into a deep depression. He turned to gambling, losing all his money to Oswald Cobblepot at the Iceberg Lounge. While,
Oh my
att-
God.
while attempting to jump from the Gotham Bridge and commit suicide, a homeless man tried to mug him. Victor killed the man and discovered the ultimate meaning to life, that it ends. In Victor's eyes, human life is meaningless. Nothing we do matters, and so Victor will liberate people from the futility of life. He often refers to his victims as zombies. He tends
Oh
to
man.
prey on young women, but is an equal opportunity killer.
Equal. Hey, there we go then. At least he's got that.
Got some redeeming qualities, and he did love his parents, I think.
So he's a pretty good guy, really. And he
Yeah,
wants to liberate people.
he's a
Like
good
he's, you
guy
know,
deep
it's,
down, yeah.
yeah,
He slits their throats and maneuvers their corpses into lifelike poses.
yeah. Oh man.
So at least it's pretty quick, right? At least he kills them quickly. He doesn't sort of torture them and drag it out.
Yeah. So he's a good guy. He's just misunderstood. Was he in the Penguin TV show or?
He was in Gotham, the
Oh,
Gotham
Gotham,
show.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy that played him in that was bald as well, interestingly. But the character's not bald in the comics. He's got like a flat top in the comics, like, and he's blonde.
Huh.
Yeah, so visually very, very different.
Yeah, I feel like this guy almost looks not up enough for the stuff that he does, right? Like, yeah, like his kind of overall
Yeah,
look.
he doesn't look crazy, does he? He
No,
looks
he looks
he
like a criminal, but not crazy.
Yeah, or just, yeah, exactly. If the actor was playing it more crazy, the judge just took one look at the guy. He wouldn't even have to open the file, and read the details. He's like, look at that
Yeah.
guy. But if it's clear that he's crazy at this point, then he should be in Arkham, though, shouldn't he? He shouldn't be in jail, right?
Oh, yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
So then you wouldn't be able to sell the corruption part.
Yeah.
So,
That's true. I feel like that doesn't make a lot of sense actually. Now, as we're unpacking this, I'm like, it kind of doesn't make sense what they're trying to say here.
yeah, I'm thinking they should have used a different Batman villain.
Yeah, exactly. Like somebody who's a lot less crazy,
Yeah, someone
right?
that's just a criminal but not crazy. If you're a comic book fan, you're thinking he's much worse than that. This guy should be in Arkham. So it needs to be an actual thug.
Maybe the mistake was just who they picked, yeah, in terms of
Yes,
the
yeah,
actual
the
and like,
actually, I agree.
yeah,
Yeah, the
like it's
acting is correct because if it's crazy, it would
yeah,
be the wrong. They've actually picked the wrong character, in my opinion.
yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it means that people who know who he is immediately could be like, well, actually, that's fair enough, right? Because he probably shouldn't go to prison. He needs he needs to be completely taken away from society.
Yeah, and ideally, get some kind of mental help if possible.
Yeah, which obviously
I
doesn't
think
really
he's
happen that
beyond
much.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing about this show, doing it this way in the episodes. You're really going deep into every scene and you're looking at it at new angles, even if you've seen the film multiple times like I have.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
here we see Carl Finch. He's the DA, played by Larry Holden. Now, he died in 2011 at the age of 49.
Oh my God, that's so young.
Yeah, from
Oh, that's
cancer.
sad. Oh dear. That's super sad.
Yeah. He was a Nolan regular. He previously played Jimmy Grant's the drug dealer in Memento
Ah,
and Farrell Brooks in Insomnia. He's the guy that got shot in the leg.
okay. Yeah.
Carl asks Rachel to stop making waves, doesn't he? He says, it's not because he's corrupt though, but it's just because he's worried about Rachel.
Yeah.
He's romantically attracted to her, but Rachel isn't interested in him.
Yep. Yeah, because she's kind of like, we've been through this, right?
So what's wrong with Carl? Do you think they've had a relationship in the past and it didn't work out?
That is actually my exact same thought. I wonder if they had been together at some point and then they chose not to be. I mean, it could also be the guy's just a bit
Yeah,
obsessed.
that's where I was leaning, that from time to time it keeps coming up. He keeps asking her out. She keeps shutting him down. Little time will go by and he'll try again.
She's his weakness. Her protection is more important. That could actually be at the detriment of like
Yeah,
trying to
because
take down criminals, essentially.
like he's effectively putting his feelings for her above the job.
Exactly. Yeah.
You could say it's also a form of corruption as well, in a way.
I guess so. Yeah. It's just a different kind. Yeah, that's true. See, this is what I like. I like some flawed characters. It's more
Yeah.
my cup of tea. But yeah, I guess, yeah, just shows corruption can be from a good place instead of, it's not always just about greed.
I think that might be often where it begins, like actually begins from a good place, or you just feel trapped with circumstances, and so you do something you know isn't right, but it's not because you're bad, but you genuinely think like it's the lesser of the two evils, it's the easier way, it's the way that causes less damage, but it's the beginning, isn't it, of a backslide.
It's a good point. Yeah, I guess it always starts, well, not always, but it can often start from a good place initially, at least.
Because what we're going to see shortly is, and Cole knows this, you've got the police department is corrupt, the judge is corrupt, the whole system is corrupt. So there's, I mean, now you've got Jonathan Crane running the asylum, so the mental health side of things is corrupt. So, like everything is corrupt. She can't win. All she's going to do is get herself in trouble. She's just going to draw the wrong kind of attention, and that's what happens.
Well,
So
thank
yeah,
God the real world isn't so corrupt like this, right? And we don't have anything like this.
yeah,
I mean, that's the best fiction as well, right? Where you take something that is kind of there is reality to it, but then you take it kind of further than it is, you
yeah.
know?
I mean, that's the thing about this is the city is so corrupt. That's why
Yeah,
you need Batman because because in our world you don't need Batman because it's not this far gone. But Gotham is so far gone that it can't be fixed internally by the people that live there because when someone does come along, like Rachel and even Carl, who would like to do it, but he's just a bit more wiser because he's a bit older. Like they just can't fix it.
yeah,
It's a stacked deck, and so you need someone like Batman who has the resources and works outside of the law, and so no one can come for him, right? No one can come round and kill him at his home. No one can threaten his loved ones because no one knows who he is. And because he's independently wealthy, he doesn't have to rely on anyone else for aid or assets or anything like that. He can actually do what is necessary to end this.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I do like that. There's something very satisfying about like, yeah, someone kind of going above it, but also having enough moral ground themselves to not abuse that power.
Sometimes you get people that are not comic book fans and they'll try and sort of criticize Batman and they'll say, well, he's a fascist and he's this and he's that and he's breaking laws and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, yes, but you're forgetting that what kind of environment that he's operating in. He's not operating in our world. In our
Yeah,
world, you don't need a Batman. In that world, you do. There's no other way to get things done, to sort things out.
yeah, that's really cool.
This is Bruce in Drifter Disguise. I don't know about you, but it reminded me of the Batman when Robert Pattinson is in Drifter Disguise in that movie.
Oh yeah,
When he goes out on the streets, he's got like that sort of bomber jacket on and
yeah, yeah.
got a massive baggy jacket on. I think he's got at least part of the suit underneath that. And then the mask and the gloves are in his backpack that he's carrying around.
So he's ready to go anytime.
At the beginning of that movie, he changes in a subway car, doesn't he? He's in the
Yeah,
bathroom then. He's like smearing that black paint like, around his eyes before he puts
yeah,
the mask
yeah.
on. But in this version, he's just checking out Rachel. He's in detective mode. He returns to Gotham, but he doesn't let Rachel know. She's kind of like the last person to find out. She reads about it in a newspaper from her boss. I would have thought Bruce would have went to her, you know? I wouldn't think he'd want her to find out that way.
I wonder what the reason for that is.
Because we know he cares about her,
But do you
but
think
it's
it's
kind
because
of
he doesn't know how to deal with that? Like he doesn't know how to confront her? Because like the fact that he's looking at her there as well, right? The fact that he's observing her,
but is he
like it's like
observing
he's,
her because it's personal? Or is it part of the mission? So he's
yeah.
observing her and her boss. He's making notes of people that are not corrupt, people who could be potential allies. So maybe he's just so focused on the mission
Do you
that
think
he's sort
Batman's on the spectrum?
of another hot
Because he's just
take
so,
straight away.
yeah. Well, I'm just thinking like, yeah, like if he's so like so laser focused and that's the only thing that matters, right? Like you say in
That's
the
how I
detective
see.
work.
That's how I
No, I think you're
personally
probably
see
right.
Batman. I like
Yeah.
Batman like that as well, though. My personal Batman, the one that I favor, it is the guy that's like so focused on the mission, but
Mm.
his personal life is just non-existent. That's the Batman that I like.
Yeah. Yeah, I do
And,
too,
and
actually.
then I
And that
like it
is
when he sort of, I like it when he does have a relationship with someone, but he's not looking for a relationship. It sort of comes into his life when he's not expecting it.
yeah,
I like that, but I like it where he's like initially he's focused. And I wonder if that's what's going on. That's why he doesn't talk to Rachel and say, hey, I'm back, by the way.
because he's on the spectrum.
So moving
Oh
on.
man. But yeah, no, I thought and the Batman also does a good job of that, right? Like I love how they're like he's just so weirdly obsessed in that movie as well with the mission that is just like it really
That,
takes its toll on him, right? Like I think that's really you
yeah.
see a lot of that in there. You don't really see that as much
Yeah, that's
with these
another level.
movies.
That's taking it to a level
With
beyond these
yeah,
movies. Yeah.
it is. But you do see a bit of that here, but it's just that it's you never see him quite as up in that sense, right? He's always like more. I mean, you know, he definitely still is, but like, yeah, I really like how they kind of took that to the next level. But I
Mm.
agree with you, though. I think there is something cool about like how obsessed he is with the mission and all that, and like things only happen around like relationships only really happen just because they happen, rather than him like actively
Pursuing it.
pursuing it. Yeah,
Because, like a normal, regular person probably wants a relationship, right? They're looking for a relationship. But with him, he's just not even looking.
yeah.
That's how I like it. So, yeah, and I like this detective work that we see him doing here. Like, it's good to see Batman doing detective work because he doesn't always do it in films. He
That's
just
true.
sometimes some of the films he's just there. Well, how did he work that out? It's nice to see him making the connections himself.
And he's got his orange juice, so
Yeah,
he's a real human.
yeah. I wondered, he's barefoot. That's what stuck out
Yeah, he
to me,
is.
that he's not got any like socks on or anything, or slippers or anything. He's just like barefoot. I don't know what that says, if anything, but I just thought that's interesting.
Especially in movies, right? Because they often say that the reason why they always have shoes on in movies is because the set is dirty, right?
Yeah,
Because that's why, when they do like a scene on the bed, right, and they're just napping or whatever, they're just like chilling on the bed in any movie, pretty much. They always have the shoes on.
that's true.
And yeah, it's because apparently like the set itself underneath is just really dirty, so that everyone has to wear shoes all the time.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's interesting to see that here because you don't see it much. But that means though to me that because of that,
mm.
then this was a conscious choice that he is barefoot, I
Yes,
think.
yeah,
But why?
yeah.
Maybe just to show it's got the comfortability. Yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't know. And
He's
then
in his
yeah,
own.
I don't know. I was trying to rack my brain to think like, why is he barefoot?
Yeah, because he's got his watch on. Look, so he's not like, and he's
Yeah.
got his outfit on and
And
all
he's
that.
not
Like he's
ready for bed or anything,
no,
like
no.
he's got clothes on and stuff. Like it's I don't know. It's just an unusual thing, isn't it? Because like obviously I can understand like just kicking your shoes off to be comfortable, but to take your socks off as well. I
Hmm.
don't know why anyone would take your socks off unless you're going to bed, or you're going into the shower or out of the shower, something like that, Like it seems unusual to be going around barefoot.
Yeah,
And like you say, it's a choice.
it's
There
got
would
to
have
be.
been
Yeah, it's
there's
got to be.
literally would have been a discussion like about this because the with the wardrobe department and Nolan and Bale and everyone, like they must have discussed like that he's got no socks on, but we just don't know why. Somehow this bat has gotten into this house. How does a bat get into a house, first of all? Like, I know it's a big house. It's a big house. It's an old house. Like, obviously, a window must be open somewhere, I am assuming, or it came down the chimney. I had a bird
Maybe.
come down my chimney once.
Huh.
It fell down somehow, and I had
Did it?
to.
Was it dead?
No, it was alive. It was very much alive. And I
Hmm.
got it out of the chimney, and it panicked, and it flew all around my house trying to get out. And there was no
Oh
windows
man.
open, and I was trying to catch the bird so I could get it outside, and it was panicking more. At the time, I didn't have blinds, I had curtains up, and it kept entangled in the curtain, and it would tear the curtains with
Oh
its
my
claws.
God.
And then it started to defecate everywhere
Oh man.
in its panic. And then I became annoyed with the bird because I was like, if you had, I tried to talk to it, I was like, if you would just chill out for a second, let me grab hold of you, I could take you outside. I imagined I eventually managed to get hold of the bird and like released it, and then I had a massive cleanup job.
Do you think this bat defecated in his house?
That's a deleted scene.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know,
There's a
man. I don't think a
30-minute
bat
deleted
though.
scene of Bruce chasing this bat around, and Bruce and
And then
Alfred with
Alfred cleaning
brooms
up.
and yeah,
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
net and things like trying to catch this bat. Yeah. This is actually a pivotal scene for Bruce
It is, yeah.
because it's this
Yeah.
scene really specifically that leads him to become Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
In 1940, as a result of Batman's popularity, DC Comics created a brand new spin-off book just called Batman. And in the very first issue, they gave an origin to Batman. And this is part of his origin that you're seeing here.
I love the one where he's just got the weight
Yep,
like held
that
above him.
represents years of physical training.
Yeah, yeah.
If you look at the bottom panels, it says, my disguise must be able to strike terror into their hearts. I must be a creature of the night, black, terrible. And then it says, as if in answer, a huge bat flies in the open window.
There you
So
go. That's how he came in the
that's how
open
it came
window.
out in the original one, an open window.
Yeah.
And he's like, there you go. It's going to be a bat then. So this is pretty similar to that in a way, isn't it? Like this is pretty faithful. You
It
know,
is actually.
he sees the
Yeah.
bat. that leads him to go down into the cave. Now, to me, that coat is too good to be wearing to like
That's what,
go down a
yeah,
well.
yeah, exactly.
I really like the
Look at
coat
that.
as well. I want
But
that
look
coat.
how dirty it's getting there. Like it's gonna get,
But he is a billionaire, right? He can afford to buy another coat.
what a
It's-
waste though.
It is. He had a drifter outfit, didn't he? Why didn't he put the drifter outfit on?
Although it does look cool when he gets down there and the coat just flaps a bit.
Just trying to make this connection in Bruce's mind. He sees this bat in his house. Alfred says, well, they nest on the grounds. Then he remembers, oh yeah, I fell down the well as a kid and these bats terrified me. And then he's like, I'm gonna go back down the well.
But what
What?
makes him want to do that?
Exactly. It's like, okay, you've seen a bat. I can understand him saying the bat is the image I'm going to use. I get that. But what makes him specifically go, I'm going down the well? He doesn't know there's a giant cave on the other side. He didn't fall into a cave. In other interpretations of Batman, Batman Forever, for example, as a kid when he falls through an opening in the ground directly into the cave. And so as an adult, he knows a cave's there. But in this version, he doesn't know there's a cave down there. All he
Yeah,
knows
he
is
only knows a
there was a
well.
little opening in the well and all these and these bat came out and terrified me. So it's like he doesn't know that's there. What makes him go down there?
It is pretty random, isn't it?
You could say to yourself, okay, he's going down there because he suspects that there's something on the other side, perhaps, and he's just going to check it out. But at this point, he doesn't know that there is an opening behind a waterfall that leads to the outside, to the surface, so which he can use to get in and out of the cave, right? He doesn't know that. He has no way of knowing that. So even if he did find a cave down there and he's thinking, that's going to be my base of operations, how does he get in and out of it?
Yeah, it's not very practical, is it? Like, imagine if he had to keep like squeezing through here
Yeah,
every single time.
you're a billionaire, you own all of that land. Wouldn't the logical thing to do would be to have a purpose-built building? I know he's got to do it in secret, so he can't just like ring up a building contractor and be like, I need a secret base built, please, on my land. But he could sort of have something dug out, couldn't he? He could have diggers in, he could have something dug out, tell him it's for a different purpose. Then he could like that contract's over, he brings in new contractors, he brings them in to do a specific job, brings in a different one, finishes off some things on himself. And so people don't really know exactly what he's up to. Kind of like with the murder house in Chicago with
Oh yeah,
that serial killer.
yes,
H. Holmes.
that's the one. Yeah,
That's what he did, but for nefarious purposes. He had a hotel built and he had all these different contractors and he told them all different stories and then he would fire them and he wouldn't pay them because he was scamming. And no builder knew exactly what was going on. They was kind of bamboozled by the plans because they never had full access to plans. And I'm thinking someone like Bruce Wayne, who's a billionaire, surely he could get like a little underground bunker thing built for himself, just big enough to like store a vehicle, some kind of access. I would have thought that would be his go-to plan than think, I'm gonna explore this tiny little opening in the bottom of a well that I fell down
yeah.
as a kid.
It's very, very random.
It just happens to work out absolutely perfectly for him because he finds this cave and it also has like a perfect access route as well because it's like, oh, just behind this waterfall, which is a perfect disguise for my cave. No one will see it from the surface. I can come and go from there. And then he just happens later on to get the perfect vehicle that can make the jumps as well. Because there's a jump that he has to sort of jump the
Yeah,
car over the chasm. It all just works out wonderfully for him.
very lucky.
But I do love this cave though.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it's a real cave, isn't it, where they've shot there?
No, it's a set.
Oh,
I remember when I first saw this, I was like, did they film it in a real cave? Knowing Nolan's a practical guy and everything. I'm like, did they go to a cave location? But no, it's a set. When I bought the DVD, they show them building it. The walls that you see, they're
Ah,
polystyrene, and they built the
okay.
set up on scaffolding, and then they could flood the bottom of the cave with water. And so
Oh
they sort
wow.
of tanked it out so you could put water in there. And the waterfall is an effect, like with the water pouring in. And it was all like carefully designed so that it doesn't flood. That cave looks so good that you
It
think
does. It
it,
does.
that's why it's my favorite because it's really the only movie so far that gives us a totally real cave. It looks damp and cold, and it's just perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I really did think it was real. I really did think that was a real location that they found. It's like you said, yeah, you can feel the damp and the cold, and so it genuinely probably was cold in there, right? They probably made it cold.
Well, they filmed it in Shepperton Studios in the UK, which was these old, I think it was like World War II aircraft hangars that
Ah,
were
yeah.
disused, and they were enormous. Like, and they offer more space inside than any film set. So they were like, we can build amazing things inside this huge thing. So I think they would have filmed it in the winter, and you couldn't heat a place that big, so there was no heating. So it was ideal for like building like the cave set in there and building like Gotham. So like all the Narrows
Yeah.
stuff, the parts of Narrows is a set, but it looks real because it's in this giant hangar, and so it really genuinely is that cold in there. People are wearing coats and stuff because I imagine being in there would feel like you're just standing outside still. It'd be absolutely freezing. This light, by the way, what do you call these things? Because in the
Uh,
Batman, he has like a red one, doesn't he? And he sort of, it's like emitting like a flame though, like a flare. But in this, it looks like electrical version, like it's running on
I
battery or
think it
something.
might still be called a flare, though, right?
Is that all you would call it, just a flare? I'm sure there's like a more technical name for it to differentiate between them.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was still called a flare, but oh, actually, no, because the flare is where it's actually coming out, right? Like almost like a firework,
That's what he's got in the
because
Batman.
this is electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, originally in the comics, there was a secret tunnel that ran underground between Wayne Manor and a dusty old barn where the Batmobile was kept. So there
Oh.
was no Batcave originally. It was more kind of like
Oh.
what I was talking about earlier on, where he's got like this purpose-built building. A barn is easily discoverable, isn't it? Like someone could search a barn and it's like, oh look, there's a Batmobile in your barn. So
Yeah.
you definitely need more than just a barn. Just put something underground. Like there was these serial killers in America. There was two of them. One was the leader, the clever guy, and the other one was more like a minion. And they actually owned this little bit of land, and it was like in the woods. And the little bit of land had been in this guy's family for years. And the two of them together hired out a digger. They excavated this big area, and they built an underground bunker, and then they covered it all over. Underground, there was like a series of rooms, corridor. I think there was like a kitchen area. It had power down there, all that stuff, right? And they did it for the purposes of abducting women and
Oh
raping
man.
them and then murdering them. And they did this for years. The way they got caught, they were out together one day in the town. One was in a shop buying something, one was waiting outside in the car, and a police car pulled up behind. And the police officer got out and he started walking towards the car. And the guy that was waiting in the car outside, the minion, he panicked and took off. And then the policeman gave chase. The guy that took off, he drove straight back to the bunker in the woods.
Oh my God, how dumb can you get?
Yep. And that's how it was all
And
discovered.
the police are like, wait a minute, what's all this?
Now, do you know why the policeman was approaching him? It was just because his tail light was out on the
Oh
car.
man.
He was just coming over to say, hey, do you know you got a tail light out? That's all it was. And that's how they
My
got caught.
God.
Now, when the police went down there into the bunker, they found this whole thing, like all these rooms, a bed, a double bed in there, TV, all kinds of stuff, right? And they're like, this is unusual, but you do what you want, right? It's your land. But then one of the officers noticed like there was like a bookcase and it was full of video cassettes, but it was like
Oh no.
it was recordable ones, where you've just
Yeah.
got a sticker on the outside and the officer looked at the sides of the tapes and they were just one word and it was just like the name of a woman, like Tracy, Margaret, Lucy, etc. And he's like, that's really weird. So they popped one of the tapes into the VCR and it was the rape and murder of that woman that
Oh
they
man.
and there was dozens of these women that they've been doing it to for decades.
That's
And
insane.
yeah, but I went off on a tangent
Yeah.
just to sort of explain that like even people with not that much money and resources can build an underground bunker on their own land
Yeah, yeah.
secretly. I'm sure Bruce could have done that without needing to um, resort to the cave if he wanted to. But obviously, it's cool to have the cave. But I just don't get the sort of the logic, the thinking of it all. In 1942, in one of the issues, it was mentioned that Batman had secret underground hangars. So they expanded the lore a little bit more. So it's more than just a tunnel now and a barn. Now there's apparently hangars, but they didn't show it initially. It was just like mentioned. And then in 1943, the writers of the first Batman film serial, they gave Batman an underground crime lab. And in the second episode, they actually called it the Bat's Cave.
Ah.
And the secret entrance was through a grandfather clock. And that grandfather clock idea has stayed with Batman through the comics right up until our day.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, the way in, he opens the glass on front of the clock and he moves the dials, the hands, to the exact time that his parents were killed. That is the mechanism to opening the door behind the clock so it swings open. That is really
Trust him to go
dark
for
as
like a
well.
di yeah, exactly. Trust him to do like when his parents died was the time that he puts on it.
Yeah, so I'm
So
guessing that
funny.
when his father died and he hit the pavement, he this is a trope as well from films where the person will hit their wrist on the pavement on the ground and the watch will break and it will freeze
Oh yeah.
at the time of death essentially. So I'm assuming that's what's happened with Thomas or Martha with their watch. Every single evening when he's going to the Batcave, he's moving those hands to the exact time of their death.
Oh man. So dark. I actually always thought that it was a bat like I thought it was always a bat cave. Well, like a cave, I should say. I didn't realize it was like iteratively going in that direction.
So now Bruce confronts his fear and masters it. Although, really, he's already confronted his fear of bats and mastered it when he was in the monastery. And he did that under the effect of the hallucinogen as well.
Yep.
So, what's the purpose of this scene then? I guess he's conquering his fear on a greater scale because there's obviously more bats. But yeah, I kind of feel like he's already, we've already seen him conquer this fear. And I would have thought it would be much harder to conquer it while under the effects of that hallucinogen anyway. So it has to be about more than conquering his fear. I guess it's about embracing your destiny as well. Bruce has made up in his mind that he's going to take this terrifying creature and he's going to essentially make it his ally. He's going to embody the thing that once terrified him and use it to terrify others. The next scene, we find out that Dr. Crane and Falcone are working together. We knew that Crane was corrupt, And we knew that he was doing favors for Falcone, didn't we, with the court scene and with Rachel confronting him afterwards. But now we know it's going beyond that because we're talking about mysterious shipments now of product,
Yeah.
and that there's another mysterious partner involved, someone that even Falcone fears. Crane says to Falcone, "I can't move any more people into this asylum for you." Because basically, like Rachel is getting involved now. Questions are being raised.
Yeah.
And then Falcone says, "I'll sort her out." And Jonathan says, "I don't want to know." And Falcone says, "Yes, you do."
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what do you take from that? Falcone says later in the film, he goes, "I
Yeah.
know about your experiments in your asylum that you do on people. I know you enjoy torturing people, and I know you're going to enjoy hearing about what's going to happen to Rachel."
Yeah, yeah. But then it's weird that he says, I don't want to know then, right? It's like he's trying to play a part.
I guess at this point, though, Jonathan doesn't know that Falcone knows what he's getting up to at his asylum. So he
Ah,
thinks
yeah.
that part of his life is private at the moment. Sometimes serial killers compartmentalize their crimes so that they make a distinction between their sort of normal life and then what they do privately, like in their double life. And then also, perhaps it's kind of like a psychological defense. It's a way of avoiding the reality of your actions.
Yeah.
And then we get this establishing shot of Wayne Tower. Now, does that tower look real to you?
I know, I
Or
was just thinking that. I feel like it does look off, doesn't it?
I thought it's a model or something, like a comp shot.
Oh, I thought
But
it was CGI.
CGI or a model and it's been comped in, right? But it's actually a real building in Chicago. It's the
Oh,
Chicago Board of Trade building.
oh,
The the logo's
okay.
been added,
Yeah,
like the
of
Wayne
course, yeah.
Enterprise logo's been added, but the building is real.
Oh,
But it didn't
why
look
does it
real
look a
to
bit
me.
fake to me? Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you can see the monorail there underneath it, right?
yeah. But the
It does
monorail
actually,
looks
yeah.
real. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the bit that's fake. But the building that's real, that looks fake to
That's
us.
so weird. I genuinely assumed it was CGI. Until you told me that, I would have always assumed that. I didn't even like question that. Because the other buildings look real to me, right? Around.
Yeah. So we're inside the boardroom at Wayne Tower now. I really love the shot of the monorail going by in the window.
Yeah, that's actually really cool.
Do you know who the busts are there of the men on the plinths? They look like they're wearing like togas or something, don't they? They don't look like they're
Yeah.
wearing suit. First of all, I looked at the guy on the left. I was like, is that like an ancestor of Wayne, right? Because in the comics, the Wayne family have been in Gotham from the beginning. They're like kind of like the founding fathers of the city. And I wondered if that was the great great grandfather of Wayne. I was like, but then I see the clothing. I'm like, I don't think so. I think they are probably Greek or Roman figures or something, and just for
Yeah.
some
I wonder
reason
if they're
they
meant
want a
to
bit of
be.
that in the
Yeah.
weird to have that in a boardroom though, right?
Yeah. I wonder if it's meant to be like sort of artifacts, right? That they've meant to have gathered to make, because that kind of makes you look even, it makes it look wealthier, right?
I wonder if that's Earl, like William Earl's idea.
Yeah.
He's just into that sort of stuff. He sees himself as like the Caesar of an empire. Of a,
It's definitely gone to his head. I could see that.
that's my
Yeah, I don't
theory.
think they're meant to
Yeah,
be from the, well, I don't think they're meant to be from the family, are they? Like you say, but
because the guy on the left, he's kind of got a Victorian era kind of beard going on, I thought.
mm,
But then the guy on the right, his beard's more sort of looks like it could be from any period. But really, the clothing just makes it seem like no, it's not. It's nothing like that. It's we're going way back. We're going. They're people from thousands of years ago, like Greek or Roman. They're probably some philosopher or something, you know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Or
that's
knowing
pretty
Earl,
cool.
it's probably some general or something in his like civilian attire, and he views himself as like a soldier, like conquering other companies or something, you know, making acquisitions and mergers, you know, they in that sort of warlike attitude, you know, that some of these business people have. Hmm. Well, according to Google AI, one of them is Solomon Wayne, and the other one is Zebediah Wayne, the original founders of Wayne Enterprises, who owned and managed the company from 1851 to 1900. We see Fredericks there. He's also in The Dark Knight Rises, and he is Christopher Nolan's uncle, John Nolan.
Huh, that's
And
kind of
he,
cool. I did
see,
not know that.
yeah, he had a reoccurring role in his nephew's TV series, Jonathan Nolan. That's Christopher Nolan's brother, in a series called Person of Interest. I don't know if
Mm,
you ever saw that show.
I haven't, no.
Okay.
I didn't even
That,
know it was related.
yes, you've got Jonathan Nolan, you've got John Nolan, Christopher Nolan, Emma Thomas, that's Christopher Nolan's wife, that's the producer. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
quite a few family members working together. He was in Dunkirk, and most recently he was in the lackluster Doom Prophecy TV series.
Uh,
I love Earl's delivery when Rutger says, that was 20 years ago, Fredericks. It's the way he says Fredericks. It's so theatrical, but I
yeah,
love the way he says it.
yeah. That was 20 years ago. Fredericks. Sees
Like,
himself so high, doesn't he?
yeah, he plays it so well.
He does, he does.
While this meeting's going on, Bruce Wayne turns up, introduces himself to the secretary here, the lovely Jessica, who was played by Christine Adams, another British actress. She's had a reoccurring role in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I haven't watched.
Ah,
She worked on the CW show Black Lightning, which was, you know, CW, so it's probably not good. So that's a comic book show.
yeah.
Again, I haven't watched
No, I
it.
haven't seen that, no.
She played Girl in Casino in The World Is Not Enough. That's the
Girl in Casino.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man. So she's mostly played more minor stuff, I suppose?
Well, The World Is Not Enough. Was that like the early 2000s, I think that film
Yeah, that
came
was a
out. So
while
that
ago.
that was
Yeah.
before this.
So she was probably quite young.
So she's probably so this is probably a similar sort of role at that time that she was doing like very small roles where she's maybe got like one or two lines probably. But still, she's been in like a James Bond movie and a Batman movie. So I mean, if I had a
It's
little
true.
role like that, I'd be well happy. But I
Yeah,
guess
not many
if
people
she,
can say they've done that, right?
yeah, but if it's your career, you want more, right? But for us, it would just be just for fun, right? We wouldn't be in it for the
Yeah, yeah,
money.
exactly.
Now, more recently though, she was in Tron Legacy,
Oh,
and she played an NCOM board member.
I've just watched that like a few days ago. Tron
Oh,
Legacy.
can you
Watched it
remember
again, I
in
mean.
it?
I
Because I
do
haven't
not
seen
actually. I
Tron
can't
Legacy
remember.
since it came out.
It's such a good film, actually. I really like that film.
Hmm.
I don't remember in it though,
I'm gonna do
but
a rewatch of the Tron films before I watch the new one. Like, I'm gonna rewatch Tron 1,
yeah,
Tron Legacy, and then Ares. Even though I've heard Ares is bad. And I'm gonna look out for her though when I watch Tron Legacy again.
yeah. I think the intention watching Tron Legacy for me was just because I heard that the new one was so bad, and I was like, man, I want some Tron action, some good old fashioned Tron action. And I did actually try to watch a little bit of Tron 1, and I was like, oh God, this is not aged very well. I should watch it more though, but I have got a bit of a thing for Tron Legacy. There's something about that film that I really like.
I
It's
love
like
the music.
The
Oh,
music,
Tron
yeah.
Legacy by Daft Punk. Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the main thing in a way. Like it just makes the whole thing. It
Yeah.
just
Without
holds it
that
all together
music,
so
I
well.
wouldn't have enjoyed that movie half as
Yeah,
much. Like
such a good
literally the
soundtrack.
music is like 70% of that movie for me. Really, it really is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And but
The
they're
visuals are
not
also
doing the
really nice,
music in
but
the new films, so that's a bit
no.
worrying.
I heard a little bit of
And
music from the
also,
new film, and it did sound good, but it just definitely didn't have the same
mm,
level as. But I mean, yeah, I think the new movie. I like immediately when I saw the trailer of the new movie, the very first trailer, I was like, oh, this clearly isn't going to be a good movie. Like you could tell. And that, yeah, but I mean, I do want to, I still want to watch it, but I'm definitely not going to go to the cinema or something. I'm just going to watch it.
you know the weirdest thing I heard about the new one though? There's no Tron in Tron. Like, you know the character Tron that was in like the first two movies?
Oh yeah.
That character's not in the third one, so it's like, well, how can it be called Tron then? It'd be like making a movie about Batman or called Batman and there's no Batman in it. I don't get it.
And even in the second movie, though, Tron was a very, very minor character,
Yeah. He
so
doesn't
it is
have
kind
to
of
be a
weird.
big character, but surely he has to be in it if you're calling it that, you know, or at least if he's not in it, he needs to be let's hope he's referred to or something. Like
Yeah,
if they
maybe.
don't talk about him or refer to him or there's nothing there, I'll have to wait till I see the movie. Can't I don't want to judge it without
I
seeing
know
it.
what's his name's in there.
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, that's the one, Jeff Bridges. He's definitely in it, but I
Mm.
don't think he's in it very much.
Yeah, ironically, I don't really need Jeff Bridges. I need Tron, you know. Even though Jeff Bridges is, the more charismatic actor and it's cool and I like him and it's cool that he's in it, like you kind of need Tron, don't you? Like,
Because it's
surely.
called Tron, yeah.
Yeah.
But Jeff Bridges is Tron, though, right? As in, he kind of he makes Tron Tron, and I feel like if he wasn't in it, it would feel like it's not Tron anymore. But I think they
Mm,
wanted to make it. It's the usual thing, right? Where they wanted to bring the franchise back and probably make more movies and maybe stop having him in the later ones. But as usual, they kind of mess it up. Disney make a bad movie, and which is a rare thing, right?
yeah.
And then it's gone now. And apparently they announced that there won't be any more Trons now
Well, all
for now.
three films have flopped, haven't they? Like all three Tron films have
I guess so, yeah.
underperformed.
But the
So,
first two at least were well regarded and flopped, which,
yeah.
okay, sure, they don't care about that, but there's
Well,
still somewhere you can go with it.
I think that's why they did keep coming back because they were like, okay, they didn't do as well as we wanted, but there is a loyal fan base for them and they are beloved films. So there's potential there to do something with it, right? But now that the third one's come out and it's not well regarded, there's like no hope now, right? I think that really is it. I don't think we'll ever see another Tron film again, will we?
I don't think so. No, I think this really is it. I think that'll be the last one, which is a shame that it has to go out on a bad movie, but I think it will be, yeah, because I just think like it's exactly what you just said. Yeah, I think they'll just be like, it isn't regarded and it didn't sell very well, and the other ones didn't do that well either. So one thing they love to do nowadays when something is a bit more niche is like an animated thing, right? They
They
love
did
to make
do an
like an animated
animated
show.
one though, didn't they? Already.
They did do one at some point, yeah. Although I don't think
Hmm.
that did very well either, did it? But I mean, a good animated
Why
show
doesn't
would
Tron
do
do
something.
well? You know what? We shouldn't be talking about Tron. Like, this
No,
is not the Tron
that'll be
cast.
for a separate uh thing. Like we need to do a separate video about Tron.
Yeah, later on, privately, we'll talk about like why does the Tron universe not have a wider appeal? But yeah, getting
Yeah.
back to this movie then, and Christine here, she also played a TV reporter in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That was
Uh,
the David Fincher version though, not the original.
oh yeah, the American one.
Yeah. So
I
that's
can't
all I
remember
have
what.
on her that I
Hmm.
that sort of struck me. But I don't know about you, but does she look a little bit to you, a little bit similar to Sarah Bond?
I guess so, a little bit.
The head of
Terrifying.
Xbox hardware, by the way, for anyone that's not
Dear.
familiar with Sarah Bond.
Which
I guess
seems to
because
be going
Sarah Bond's on
swimmingly
my
for them.
mind at the moment quite
Yeah.
a lot. So
Oh dear.
Bruce is playing golf with Jessica in the outer office,
It's
and
so silly that moment, really, isn't it?
well,
It's
this
like
is the
1 minute it's
beginning. This is the beginning of Bruce's like playboy persona.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, do you prefer your Bruce Wayne to have the playboy persona, or do you prefer the reclusive version of Bruce Wayne that we so in the Nolan films we got the playboy. We got the playboy in Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, but in uh, Batman Returns, and the Batman, we get the reclusive Batman. Do you have a preference, or do you like both?
So I think that the Playboy Bruce makes more sense in the sense that like it's a better persona to to mask that he's Batman, right? Like it makes more sense practically that he would try to kind of cover it up because like you're not going to suspect this like really like well-spoken like playboy kind of guy who's like always flirting with all the girls and all that. You're not going to suspect this guy is going to be Batman, right?
Mm.
But I prefer the more like up like kind of like like how you can see it takes its toll on him. And if you look on in the Batman, for example, right, the reclusive Bruce in there, it's like he's so obsessed that it just like his actual kind of Bruce life is kind of yeah, it just takes its toll on that life, right? So I personally prefer seeing that struggle, but it does make more sense. Like if you're just being purely practical to be like this, right? I feel because it's just like who's going to suspect this? Like you would suspect some weirdo who just never come out and he's always in his mansion and whenever anybody sees him, he's like completely messed up and he's like sleeping in the daytime and all. Of course you're going to suspect this guy, right?
Well, in the
Being
Batman
Batman.
though, the Bruce Wayne in that film, his car and things and his bike, they are things that he makes himself, and they are things that pretty much a regular guy could acquire, right? And so there, no one would ever think, oh, Batman must be rich or he must have access to loads of money, right? Because that version of Batman so far hasn't displayed anything that would make you think that. Whereas the other versions, like Val Kilmer's Batman and this Batman, they are going around in vehicles that only a super rich person would have access to. Either they are rich or they know someone that's rich. So yeah, I agree. You need a playboy persona to sort of detract from that in this version. But in the Batman at the moment, I don't think you need the playboy persona at that point because I don't think anyone would think that Batman is a rich guy. I think they just that could be
Mm.
anyone in Gotham. But what if we could have our cake and eat it? So what if in the Batman 2 he does adopt a playboy persona in public, but he can still be messed up privately. But he's just really good at putting that front on. That
That
we're
could be cool,
and
actually.
then we
I
can
would
have it,
actually
but we can
really
have
like to
it
see
both
that.
ways. Then we can have the best
Yeah,
of both worlds.
man, I would actually really quite like to see that depicted like that. And then like maybe it's getting harder for him to do that. Like this parts of it that's really a challenge. Like maybe he's at a party or something and he's being super charismatic, but then he has to just like come
We
away for
had
a
that
second.
we had that exact scene in Mask
Yeah.
of the Phantasm, the animated movie. There's literally that scene where Bruce Wayne's in the party, he's having a party at his own mansion, and he's there with the women and everything, and he's smiling, and then he goes into a private room and he's just like, oh. And he looks at the photo of his parents above the mantelpiece and he's just like, woe is me. So we have had that literal scene. So we
But
have
that's
literally had the best of both worlds. So that is really cool.
That's cool because that is I feel like that's quite realistic as well because I feel like there are quite a lot of people who do this in real life even where they have this sort of they have to keep up an image of being like this, being this sort of person. And it's ultimately from reading about this, it's ultimately one of the reasons why people can get so into drugs as well, right? Because they use it as a way to get them up and running and like sort of extra charismatic and extra bubbly, but then it really takes its toll on them because that's not really who they are, but they're just pretending to be someone. So I feel like in that sense, it's almost a bit relatable as well to people, I would imagine. So yeah, that's pretty cool actually. I would love to see that in the Batman as well.
Now, Earl says to Bruce that he's taking the company public. I would have thought, though, that Thomas Wayne would have held at least 51% of his own company. And the fact that Bruce has to revert to this sort of subterfuge that he does tells me that Bruce owns less than 51%. Although Alfred did say to Bruce on the jet, your father nearly
Uh,
bankrupted Wayne Enterprises trying to combat poverty. So maybe his father had to sell shares in order to
to some
sort
of
of,
these guys.
yeah, like
Yeah.
maybe that's what
Or maybe
happened.
even some other investment that we don't know about because it's a private company right now, which means
Yeah,
that
it's
technically
private,
other
but
people could
he
have
must have,
invested.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. But they like, yeah. So he must have had. I'm assuming that's what happened during the sort of depression that Gotham went through, and like his father basically just investing so heavily trying to help the city by building that monorail and things that sort of it did damage his own financial resources to the point where he had to sort of essentially lose control over his own company.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that does make sense, right? Because apparently he did spend way too much money on all that.
Morgan Freeman plays Lucius Fox. Morgan Freeman's a great actor. Now, I've
It's
seen Morgan Freeman in loads of films over the years.
oh yeah. I mean he's a great actor, isn't he?
He got an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in Million Dollar Baby.
Huh.
But even before that, though, have you seen Unforgiven, the Clint Eastwood Western?
I think I have actually, yeah.
It's like from the 90s. It won a ton of awards, that film. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
Eastwood's like last Western. And he was in Seven, Morgan Freeman. Robin
Yeah.
Hood, Prince of Thieves, like just tons of great films.
Yeah, he's got definitely got a big legacy under him, hasn't he?
In 2005, Morgan Freeman criticized Black History Month, saying, I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
Oh.
And he said, the only way to end racism is to stop talking about it. And he said, there's no White History Month. And then in an interview with
Oh
60
man.
Minutes, he said, I'm going to stop calling you a white man, and I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. So I don't know how you feel
That's
about this.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about this, but I completely agree with Morgan Freeman. I think if you really want to stop racism, and we know it's a big problem, particularly in America, keep picking at the scab. It's never going to heal. Keep raking over history and the injustices to black people, and keep um, there's talk of reparations and all kinds of stuff, right? For crimes that happened hundreds of years ago. I just feel like at some point you just need to draw a line in the sand and just say, look, just what happened in the past by our ancestors happened. That's done. We don't make children pay for the sins of their fathers, right?
Yeah.
We move on from that. We stop keep referring to people as black people and white people. We just say we're all one people. And I think that's what Morgan Freeman's saying in these quotes here. He's
Yeah,
just going
yeah.
like, let's just stop going on about it and let's just move forward. Let's just move forward and leave all that in the past where it belongs. Like,
Yeah. It's
We,
segregating, isn't it, by sort of thinking about things in that way, thinking about us all. I mean,
you know, by not talking about it, you're not condoning it, you're not excusing it, you're just not. There's no what good can come from, in my opinion, what good can come from it? In Morgan Freeman's opinion, what good can come from it? Like we can't change the past. We can only change the present. And I think the way to just deal with things like this is just to treat everyone the same and stop treat like even identifying people by the color of their skin. Like it shouldn't even be a topic of conversation. It shouldn't even come up. The only time you'd even bring it up is like if you was describing someone's physical appearance. Have you seen Mike in the office? Who's Mike? He's the black guy, the really tall black guy with glasses. Like that. Like other than something like that, it shouldn't even be a thing. You know, it's just like
yeah,
So when we talk about Morgan Freeman, we don't go black actor Morgan Freeman. No, it's just Morgan Freeman. So that's Morgan Freeman's view. That's my view. But I thought
it's
it's
very
interesting that he
interesting.
made those
Yeah,
things. Lucius Fox is a comic book character, and he does run Wayne Enterprises, or runs part of it, or at least assists Bruce in running Wayne Enterprises, depending on which version you're reading in the comics. But what he wasn't in the comics until this film is kind of like he's a bit like Q, in the James Bond movies, where he's the guy that gives James Bond his gadgets before going on the mission.
yeah, he's just like that, isn't he? Here.
That's a Nolan thing, but has now been adopted in other medium of Batman. Lucius Fox in the Arkham games is like this version. He
Mm,
is he is running the
yeah.
company and he is supplying Bruce with tech and stuff.
The thing I found a bit weird about this particular scene, though, Lucius is showing him all the tech and everything, and there's, and that's cool, and he's talking about his father and all that stuff. But it's kind of weird how he immediately kind of, like, just based on this small talk, he basically reveals that he's going to use the equipment for like nefarious purposes, right? Like
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious like that he's going to guess straight away what's going on here, right? And that's fine. Like I know that that is something he confines it, but like it's just weird to just do it so quickly. I mean, I guess it's because it's a movie, so it's kind of like you have to just cut that essentially. What might have been a relationship is put into just one scene. But
Yeah.
it's just
Because
very odd to me. Like, why would you? Because like he's meant to be super, super secretive, and it's just immediately reveals to this guy like what's going on, essentially, right?
Yeah, because like when he says, "Can I borrow the suit?"
Yeah.
and he's like, "For what?" and he's like, "Splunking," and he's like, and obviously Lucius is like, "This is nonsense, right?" And and
Yeah.
and 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 Bruce does look, he does look and sound nervous for a second. Oh my God, this is
Yeah, it
not
does.
working. I'm an idiot. Which is kind of like not very Bruce Wayne like Bruce Wayne's meant to be cleverer than that. He's meant to be one or two steps ahead of everyone else. And he's kind of like he's a bit dumb at that point. Spelunking.
Yeah, it
It's
feels like
such
it's
a
more of a comedy. It's obviously meant to be more of a comedy moment, and it is funny,
it
but
is. It is funny, but it's not
it's
very
so
Bruce Wayne like.
irresponsible. Yeah, it's just so irresponsible. Like it's like he's the only other person who knows about this is Alfred, and Alfred is somebody that he's known his whole life, and he can really like confide in him and everything.
Yeah.
And it's like this guy, it's just like he just met him. Okay, sure, he knew his father, and like it's clear
He
from
didn't
this
know that
scene.
though, did he? Because
No,
just
he didn't know
like
it
he
before
said, "Oh, you knew
this.
my father."
Yeah,
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 so he
and he's
didn't
like,
even know that.
so he didn't even know that. But then he's like, oh, because you knew my father, and because you seem to be a decent dude, I'm just going to immediately tell you that I'm going to be Batman. Essentially, it's just like
I wonder
it's
if,
crazy.
well, in the previous scene, we saw Bruce Wayne doing his detective stuff, right? And he was like sitting there like with his research papers, right, and his
Yeah.
photographs and stuff he'd been taken of Rachel and Finch and other characters, right? And I wonder if he's researched Lucius, you know,
Oh, yeah, that's
and he's
true.
sort of
Yeah.
and he's researched his company and he's looked into Reese, Lucius. You know, he might have been following him. He's looked and maybe he kind of knows the guy. You know, he's worked out the kind of guy he is. But it's still that bit where it's like, okay, based on what I've found out about this guy, I'm pretty sure I can confide in him, but I'm not fully sure. It might, you know, and it's that bit of nervousness when he's like, okay, I'm committed now. And that's why he's still nervous when he's like, yeah, spelunking, you know. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's what I would like to think that he's done. He has researched the guy, he's looked into the guy, and but he still has to take that plunge where it's like it could go the other way. You know, he might not be on board.
Yeah. And like that could have gone, but that could have gone really, really badly for him. Really, really bad. Like that could have been the end of the whole thing, right? If that had not gone well. That's why it seems so irresponsible to me. I mean, like it maybe would have made more sense, right? If he'd have figured the lay of the land a bit and made sure he stole a key or something, and then he broke in another time, and then maybe he gets spotted, like maybe he finds him there or something like that, right? And then there's a talk. That would have made to me that would have made more sense.
That could have been an
But
interesting way of doing it, where, you know, he's got access to it because he's now
yeah,
working in that department with Fox, getting to know the company's father, built, and then, you know, end of day, Lucius is away, and he just like takes the odd box, you know, that no one's going to notice because the stuff's not even, like you say, it's in storage essentially. So
yep,
no one's going to notice for a long time, like the odd thing going. He could take the thing out of it, just leave the box there, you know. Who's going to ever open that box for years, potentially? So he could have done that and then, like you say, get
yeah.
caught. That would
Yeah,
have
and
been,
then Fox actually catches him one day doing it. So maybe
yeah,
he's stolen a few bits and pieces.
yeah.
And then or maybe like he doesn't catch him in the act, but he says something to him. That'd be kind of cool, right? He just catches him off guard. So he's like, so yeah, you know that tech that you've got or whatever. And he's like, what? You know, and then it kind of you could have
Yeah,
even
like
said the
Bruce thinks
splunking
he's
thing.
yeah, Bruce thinks he's been taking it and getting away with it, and Lucy's like, "Oh
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I've known for a while you've been taking stuff."
Because this
But
guy's
then
obviously
if that
extremely
happens,
smart, right? Like he's a very, very, very smart guy. So he
but
would
then
probably find
if it
out.
went
But
that way, it also makes Bruce look a little bit dumb that he gets caught, you know? Like,
I suppose
so
so.
either
But he
way,
could have still said the splunking thing, right? Like he could have still said, like he's like, what did you need all that tech for and all that? And he's like
spelunking.
spelunking. You
What
leave
could
that,
he have
mate.
said though? What other excuse could you say for taking an armored military suit? Like, what could you come up with? He's like, why do you want it, Shenmue? What would you say?
Not spelunking. I wouldn't have even thought of that. I don't know. Man, that's
Costume
true. Like,
party?
what do you
Costume party?
guess? It's a very expensive costume for a costume party, don't
But
it?
he's a rich guy, right? Rich guys are odd, aren't they? They do wear lavish clothing and buy very expensive things for very trivial
True,
purposes.
true.
Maybe he's just like, well, I just thought it'd be fun to like go as an army dude at this party I'm having, and he's like, it's 300 grand, and he's like, yeah, like, you know, maybe he could play really dumb.
I mean, it's still more believable than the spelunking, right? Like,
Yeah. He shows Bruce a grapple gun and a combat harness, and he says that this grapple gun has a 350-pound monofilament. So this got me thinking about the scene in Batman 89 when Batman says to Vicky Vale, "How much do you weigh?" And she says, about 108 pounds. And he does a quick mental calculation and then he fires his grapple gun. And then the two of them start like get winched up into the air. And then about halfway up, it just stops. It cuts out because it's overloaded. And
because she weighed
Vicky's
more.
lied about her weight.
Yeah.
Now, apparently, Bruce Wayne weighs 220 pounds in this film, and Vicky weighed £130 in Batman 89. So that means that this gun could carry Bruce and Vicky, whereas the grapple gun in 89 could not manage the two of them together. This gun is just capable of carrying this version of Bruce Wayne and Vicky from 89 together. Now, Keaton is a bit lighter than this Bale, so that means that Keaton's grapple gun in 89 is even more pathetic.
But if she'd have told him her
The
real
truth,
weight,
yes.
what would have happened though? Would he have said like you go on your own, or would they have not gone
Well,
as far up, do you think? Or
well, we're getting into 89 now, so we've gone. But so
yeah.
he hooks it onto his belt, right? So if she was going up on her own, he would have had to have took his belt off and then put it onto her waist and then
Yeah,
hooked it onto
yeah.
her. And there wouldn't have been time because that car just drove around the corner just as they went up into the air.
Yeah, yeah. But this one's obviously a better gun.
And then we
Military
got these
tech.
little compartments here for his belt, which look like they could store absolutely nothing. But
What is that for,
they look
man?
like they've got just enough room to put the back credit card in there from Batman and Robin.
Well, he does need to buy a few things here and there, you know.
Look how small they are. Like
What if he needs to buy a Red Bull in the middle of the night because he can't stay awake?
he's got yeah. I mean, maybe you can fit like a few pellets in there, like smoke bombs or something. But look at no, you can't even put smoke bombs in there because
No,
when we see things later in the movie, they're round and substantially bigger. Yeah, so I don't know what fits in there. It's tiny, isn't it?
this seems pointless to me. I don't see why anyone would use this for anything. It looks cool though.
Yeah, it does look
It
cool.
looks nice.
Yeah.
They must have thought of that when they were building it though, surely. Like, what would this be used for?
I like a belt that has pouches. In the comics, sometimes they draw Batman with a sort of it's a belt and it doesn't really have anything on there. You know, it's just like a yellow belt. And then other
Yeah,
times they
yeah.
draw him with like all these like pouches and stuff. So, and that's the kind of belt we get in the Batman, where it's got like all these pouches, like it's a sort of like something you would see like a policeman wear or something like that,
Hmm.
or like someone in like a soldier or like a mercenary or something like that. And that seems much more practical. They're going for more the sleek, slimline version in this. Lucius says this is called the Nomex survival suit for advanced infantry. Cost is $300,000 per suit. It looks cool, doesn't it, when it's like this and it's not been painted yet?
It does look cool,
Because
yeah.
when it's in this form, that looks like armor to me. I can see that, and I'd buy that as an armored suit. Do you?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, it definitely looks way more like I feel like maybe because it's when it's black you can't see that as obvious. But yeah,
Well,
no, here it's like, yeah, this is definitely something that would be very protective.
I think
Yeah.
seeing the weave there on the pecs,
Yeah.
the fabric, it like on different parts of it, the it looks like metal clasps, the segmented part over the ribs, all that sort of stuff. I think that sells it as armor. Whereas when it's black, then it just looks like a wetsuit to me. In the Batman, the suit that he's got in that film, that looks like armor to me. It
Yeah.
does sell the illusion to me.
It does.
When you see, say, let's say like George Clooney in Batman and Robin or Val Kilmer, and you see them in their rubber suits, I don't believe that's armor. You know, that looks like a
No.
very nice costume, but I don't believe that's armor in the slightest. The later Batman movies, the original four, they get to the point where they just look like costumes. Where I feel like in '89, that suit, although yet again it's a rubber suit, but there's a heaviness to it, a thickness to it. Sort of, it's not as shiny and as polished. It's got more of a rough look to it. It looks like it could be armor to me. Like it looks like okay, I can believe that this can stop a shot like a bullet, or if someone like tries to stab you or something like it does sell it to me.
Yeah.
Even when you get to Batman Returns, I don't believe it anymore because it's too it's shiny, it's sleek, it's thinner. And they did all that so the actor can move and be more comfortable in it. But you lost something by doing that. You lost the illusion of armor that you got in 89, in my opinion. And I don't think they ever got it back until we got to the Nolan films. I'm kind of amused that they have a petrol generator down there because it seems so low tech. Think of a Marvel movie. You got people like Iron Man and stuff, and like Black Panther, and they've got like this nanotech stuff and invisible ships and like robotic suits that like all the parts like fly on you and magically fit and all this stuff, right? And in Batman Begins, it's like, yeah, we got a petrol generator from Home Depot. And I like that though, do you? Because I
Yeah,
can
it
I
makes
can
it
buy
feel a bit
into
more
this
real,
world.
doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't really. I find that hard a lot of the time in Marvel. Like I'm just like it's a bit of a stretch, for me to go with it sometimes.
And I like how it's so loud as well. Like if he actually had that down there, it's just
I,
going to constantly be whirring away. I
it's
assume
got to
that
be it's
they,
temporary, right? It's just to
yeah,
get
exactly.
some
I was going to
light,
say that. Yeah.
get some lights up there for now, and then they can see what they're doing while they work and install something more permanent. I
How
don't know if
Alfred's like,
he's still in his suit.
yeah. And I like how he's like, so like, you can kind of tell that he's a bit like, oh, why are we doing this?
We see the foundations of the house there.
Yeah. It's very cool. I do like it. It's that sort of like, it's almost a bit gothic-y, right?
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
It is. Yeah.
Alfred points out this shaft. Alfred says to Bruce that his great great grandfather, he was involved in the Underground Railroad and
Oh,
like they
yeah.
were moving
Yeah.
slaves. So they used these caves and the caverns as a secret way of moving people. Bruce was not aware of any of it. So the way I'm thinking is Bruce went down to the cave and explored, and he found this. And then he went up this shaft to find out where it goes, and then found out it comes out inside Wayne Manor. Like there must have been a concealed entrance, right? Which he later
Mm.
uses as his entrance to the cave.
It's very convenient that it just
Actually,
happens to have already have
are
one.
those the stairs, aren't they? Going all the way around? They are. Those are stairs.
Oh yeah, yeah,
See
that
it?
circular
Circling
bit.
it.
Mm.
That's it. I never
Oh
noticed that
yeah, in
before.
fact, right in front of the camera there, that is some there, isn't it? I was looking further away,
Yeah,
but
if you look
actually right
closely,
there.
you can see them spiraling up
Yep.
around the shaft. Yeah, I
Which
never
makes
noticed that
sense
before.
because you probably wouldn't want to rely on just the elevator,
Yeah,
even if,
absolutely.
yeah, and you
Yep.
still wouldn't now. Still the same thing, right? You can't completely just have an elevator and that's it.
And I assume you can hear the machinery going as well. So if you want to bring slaves down, right, they would all be walking down there. You wouldn't be
Yeah, to be
going,
quiet. That's a nice attention to detail. I totally did not see that before. Do you think this would have been like originally like hand drawn? Couldn't have been electric, right?
oh, when was the slave thing going on in America? Let me look.
Mm,
So, Underground Railroad. Was that the Civil War? Let's have a look.
not sure.
A network of secret routes and safe houses used by enslaved African Americans to escape to free states and Canada before the Civil War.
Canada. I guess I don't know too much about that side of history in terms of when that was. In my head it would be not electric time, like it wouldn't be, it would be before that.
So it says that the Underground Railroad began to organize in the 1780s.
Ooh.
Early adoption of electricity in the US was the late 1800s. The Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 effectively ended the need for the Underground Railroad. The first public power grids were established around 1882, and initial access was limited to urban areas and wealthy households. So it doesn't match. The Underground Railroad ended before the Waynes could possibly have had electricity installed. So they must have operated the shaft elevator by hand initially. But then who installed the electricity and why? They must have used it for a secondary purpose afterwards, but I wonder what for.
This bit's funny when he's like, "Yeah, come over here and have a look," and he's like, "I'm all right,
Yeah,
thanks."
I love their relationship in this film, Alfred and Bruce.
Same, same.
It's fantastic.
He's not just he doesn't just do blindly what Bruce wants.
Yeah,
He's just like,
he's not there
"Nah,
to
I'm good."
just like dust the Batcave and bring Bruce a sandwich. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
he's a friend and like a father figure as well. And you notice as well, like Bruce has got the suit on, but it's the one that actually looks like armor. This cave is so realistic, isn't it? It's incredible.
yeah. I love that.
I just love seeing it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Fantastic cave.
I still think it's weird. I know we said that before, but I still think it's weird because like must have put a lot of work into getting this looking real, and you're like, why didn't you just use a real cave? But I guess it would be hard to get camera equipment and everything in a real cave,
And
right?
get everyone there and yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is quite a difficult thing to do, so it probably is faster and
And
quicker to
also they
actually.
want these other things in the cave, right? They need to get the tumbler in the cave.
Oh yeah, you're never going to get that in
They
real.
need the elevator shaft, they need the foundations of the house. Like they could get all that into this big set. So it's like everything they need by
Yeah,
building it. So it makes sense.
it must have been big though,
Yeah.
really big. I mean, I'm assuming it's not. It doesn't all have to be completely cohesive, right? It doesn't have to be like all connected,
I think it
but
was though.
still.
I think it kind of
Oh,
was.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
The,
yeah, because they use a lot of different camera angles, don't they, in these scenes, like
yeah.
later on as
Because
well.
like
So yeah, you're
they
probably
build it
right.
in those big studios. But I was thinking as well, like when I watched this film, in my mind, I was thinking, as great as this is, I was imagining where it would go in the sequels.
Ah,
Imagine like
yeah.
Bruce bringing down like high-tech computers, lab equipment, like more manufacturing stuff, like, and it's all like modern tech down there and stuff, but built into this real cave still. The cow comes ready to order from Singapore,
Yeah.
and the ears come from China, and they have to order 10,000 ears to avoid suspicion.
And then he's like, "Well, we've got some spares then."
And I'm looking at that cowl. I'm thinking, well, what would that be used from then? Because look at that thing. It's got like the nose on it, sort of pointed Batman nose and everything. I'm like, that goes in. It's obviously part of a helmet of some kind, but
Thing
that
where
looks
it's
hand
like,
drawn, doesn't it?
I don't
Like on
know.
the paperwork, not in the book, but the papers look
Oh,
hand
the
drawn.
paperwork. Okay, yeah.
I wonder if
Yes,
that's
yeah, it
something
does.
Alfred's drawn out himself. But yeah, look, there's the catalog there,
Yeah, the cat.
or
Yeah, and
whatever
it
it
really
is.
does look like it really gives me Lego
It looks
vibe,
like
like
one
where
of those
it's
tool manuals, you know? Have you ever seen a tool manual book where you can order tools and stuff from? It looks very much like that, where they're
hmm.
just giving you like specifications and stuff.
Again, he's really consciously in this movie trying to make sure that you feel like, okay, I could see how this could be real, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just adding a little bit of grounding. I appreciate that though. I think it's kind of cool actually. Like you can overdo it, right? But I do think
Yeah,
it's
because
kind of
if you
cool that the
think too much, I'm thinking to myself,
yeah.
I'm thinking, well, he's got this cowl part here, right? Like the helmet part. And actually, in the picture in the book, they show a bit that goes under the chin, don't they? Like it looks, maybe it's like a chin
Yeah,
strap or
yeah, and
something.
this yeah, that middle picture.
Yeah, the middle picture on the left of the page, you're seeing like the cowl, the helmet like extends further down the face.
Mm,
So, but I'm assuming though the neck part of the what becomes the Batman cowl, Bruce has to make that himself, right? And
yeah, yeah.
somehow he manages to make this of a material that looks identical to the cowl and the suit, and it all meshes perfectly. I don't know how he did that. The film doesn't explain. Kind of like in the like the Spider-Man film, the Sam Raimi one. He's like he's a school kid and he creates this perfect Spider-Man costume,
Oh my God,
that's
yeah.
clearly made by costume designers. But
Yeah.
you just have to go with it, right? It's
I
part of the
kind of like it
fantasy.
when they do like the crap version of it first, right? Like on this movie as well, he has like, he doesn't have the cowl there, and then also Spider-Man as well when they do, when he has like the sort of pajama thing, right? I kind of like
Well,
that, seeing the
also,
crap version first.
well, in the Batman, the cowl that Bruce has on that film, you can see the stitching, like, and the pieces of fabric where he's made. It looks like it's leather, right? That one, and
Ah.
you can see where he's stitched it together, like where he's literally added like the neck part to the side and the back. Like you can see it's literally cobbled together, like
Mm.
which sells it even more than this movie does.
Yeah,
Because when
those are
you
the
look
kind of
at that
things.
suit, the
Yeah.
suit in that movie looks really completely believable, like someone's made that themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like that's the kind of thing where you wouldn't necessarily notice, like it's not like you might not necessarily notice that detail,
Mm.
but your mind just subconsciously
Subconsciously,
picks it up. Yeah,
yeah,
and you sort of like it becomes believable because of that, even
yep,
if you don't literally notice the detail. I always find that kind of thing very fascinating. But yeah, you're right. It definitely does look more homemade, whereas on this, it doesn't look believable, to be fair, does it? That like
not really, no.
he could do this. Like
Yeah, the
it's totally
cowl's
like crazy.
too pristine, too
Yeah.
engineered to look
I
like
mean
he did that
it's
himself.
literally perfect, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
yep.
it's yeah.
So there he is spraying his gauntlets
Oh yeah.
and the suit.
And it's funny because it's like we were saying before, like you see it here, look how it's like it covers all the detail. And I feel like this is
Yeah,
also kind of one of those things where it's like it's kind of it's showing us why it doesn't look so armored later on in a way, right? Because as he's painting it black, you don't see any of the armor detail. So I
yeah.
guess I feel like that's what this is for in a way. Apart from it just being kind of cool anyway to see him like
But I actually
doing it
think it
black.
looks better seeing the detail, do you?
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, yeah. But I think it might even be partly just because like it's hard to have that detail.
Because it looks
I,
so cool like
yeah,
that now, right? You can see
it
it
does.
unpainted, or you did see it unpainted, and it just looks so cool.
I know it's a shame that they couldn't have done like a painted version that didn't cover all the
But did
detail.
it even need to be painted black, right? The color that it's at, I mean, it's sort of metallic, I guess.
It's
Like
got
it's
to be
got a,
black. It's Batman.
but like,
It's
but
broody.
it's dark enough as it is unpainted. I guess it would change in different lighting conditions, but it looks grey.
Yeah.
And earlier when it was like in full light, like when it was in like the white lights in Lucius's underground or storage area, it looked sort of metallic blue.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, it's obviously depending on the lighting,
but that
isn't it?
was in like bright light, right? And Batman would
Yeah.
never be in bright light. He would be in darkness. And when you see it here, where he's in darkened conditions, I think it looks dark enough where I think it would have been
Well,
okay unpainted.
I might have to disagree with you on that because I do think that the detail does look cool. I think it looks better with the detail. But I do think if you're just thinking purely practically, right, you can see already on this scene that the light is getting reflected on it. And that reflection is going to be bad, right? Like if you're in the dark environment, right, and you're trying to sneak around and
Mm.
there's a tiny glimmer of light from something, car lights from outside or something, or even the moon, you're going to see a bit of reflection on it and it's going to be picked up more easily. Whereas if you get a matte black like he's going for, you can already see like where he's sprayed, you can't see as much reflection, and that is a big benefit in terms of like
Yeah.
camouflage, right?
And actually, they don't say it in the movie, but the costume designer says it on the special features. Lindy Hemming. She said that the paint that he's spraying it with here, it's a latex spray and it conceals
Oh,
his heat signature. So if someone's using like infrared goggles, they wouldn't be able to pick up his heat signature either.
oh wow. Is that a
Yeah,
thing? Can you actually, is that a real,
I don't know. Um,
I wonder if it's a
sh
real thing or whether they're just sort of like fictionalizing it. It's kind
let's
of interesting. I never thought about that.
shall we try AI?
Yeah.
Can a latex spray conceal heat signature?
This is a common question, and the idea of a simple spray like latex completely concealing a heat signature is generally not accurate in a real world long term scenario. Here's a breakdown of why. Heat generation. The human body continuously generates heat. Any material covering the body will eventually warm up due to contact with that heat. Insulation versus concealment. A material like latex might initially
Hmm.
act as a decent insulator, slowing the transfer of heat. For a very brief period, if the spray was cool, it might mask the signature. However, over a few minutes, the latex itself would become warm, approaching body temperature, and would be clearly visible to a
There you
thermal
go.
camera. The
There you
principle
go.
of thermal camouflage.
Yeah, like it was saying, right, that it's basically it would help a little bit, I guess.
But she,
But by
the
the
AI
time,
said only a few minutes. So
yeah, so
you'd
by
put
the
the
time
suit
you
on,
actually
and,
do it,
and by the time you even
yeah.
get drive to the city, it's already heated up.
By the way, I really like your I like your voice that you have for your AI.
Yeah. But when
Okay.
he sprays this, I mean, obviously they'd have to design the costume a little differently. But like, if they could have kept the detail, even though it's black, because all this
Yeah,
detail here, you
exactly.
lose that, right? You lose
Yeah,
all this detail. They do have some sculpting on it, right? But it's so much. It doesn't look like armor anymore. They lose it all, unfortunately. I feel like you could have kept all this, but had it
I agree.
black.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because look at all that right below, right, where you can see the little pa like individual kind of panel things. I don't know what the proper term is, but you know what I mean.
In
Yeah.
the script, David Goyer described the suit as translucent,
Hmm.
and you kind of see that on the shoulder there.
I guess so, yeah.
You can sort of see the inner layers of it, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. Where's the bat symbol? Because he has a black bat symbol. It looks like it's molded onto the chest in the final version, right? But
Oh yeah.
it's not here.
Yeah, it
And
doesn't actually show him putting it on, does it? I think it's just
no, it
like
doesn't.
magically there one day.
When you see him the first time when he wears the suit and he's got the balaclava, there's no symbol on his chest there.
Yeah, yeah. Where does he get it from?
Well, it's got to be. I'm assuming it's made of the same material that the neck part is made from. I guess he bought the material somewhere and then
And then like
somehow,
crafted his own
yeah, he
version
must
of
have like crafted his own like neck piece and somehow molded it to the cowl, and then also cut out a chest piece, glued it on, and then sprayed that as well.
I've mentioned to you in the past, I think, where like the the bat logo, right? I've always had a bit of a thing about like why do they always have this yellow, bright yellow bat logo in so many of the other, movies and comics and everything. And it's just like you've put all this effort in to like this really cool black suit where it's like really good for the dark and we've just been talking about reflections on it and everything else. Like it stops that because it's matte. And then you have you have a bright yellow logo.
So in
Why
this one,
else?
he
It's
has a
like,
nice bright
why?
golden belt.
Yeah.
Why
Oh
doesn't he
man.
spray the belt black as well?
Yeah. It does not make any sense to me that like it's like
You see, that
surely
is
again.
interesting, right? Like, so in the comics, I think it was Frank Miller. I think it was in The Dark Knight Returns. He gives an explanation for the yellow symbol. And basically, it's this: at that time, there was no armored bat suit. It wasn't invented yet. Basically, I think Tim Burton was the one that invented that whole concept,
Ah,
because before Tim Burton, Batman wore tights in the comics. Frank Miller, who brought his book out a few years before Burton's Batman film, he had an idea where everything's a pair of tights, but underneath, like where the chest is, he's got like a bulletproof vest on, basically. Frank Miller said, like, Batman has the yellow logo. In a way, it's like subconsciously inviting your assailant to shoot you there. You're basically putting,
oh,
it's a psychological thing where Batman's
oh,
literally putting a target on his chest saying, aim here, rather than like at my face, please, where I could actually die.
that's so cool. I never knew that.
He gets shot with a high-powered rifle, and you see the bullet like tear through the vest, and you can see it like like gouged into the bulletproof vest beneath, like in one of the comic panels.
Wow.
Burton's Batman gets shot and he gets back up again because it's bulletproof. And then in Batman Returns, we learn that on the side of the suit, kind of like where your kidneys, like that part wasn't armored because Catwoman stabs him with one of her claws
Hmm.
and it just goes straight through, it just punctures it. So even in the Burton verse, it seems that only the chest part can actually stop a bullet. And in this version, it's kind of the same sort of thing. Lucy's just saying, don't even take a straight shot to the chest because it won't stop it. It can only sort of take a shot from like an angle. In the Batman, there's a scene where Robert Pattinson's Batman charges down a corridor and they are shooting him with automatic handguns. The bullets are literally bouncing off of his chest plate. Because in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
version, his chest plate, it looks like it is made of metal, unlike this
That's so
version.
cool, that scene, by the way, what you're talking about. Yeah, I love that.
It seems that Robert Pattinson's suit offers the greatest protection of any bat suit today, and yet it's the one that's homemade.
Yeah, and this one's like, how much did he say these things were costing?
300,000. And Robert Pattinson made a better one in his garage.
It, I mean, like this, right? You can see there's like crevices. I mean, which makes sense because it needs to be able to move around, right? But there's these like sort of, yeah, crevices around it, and you're like, if a bullet went in there, what would happen, right?
Well, yeah, same as a knife, right? If you've got a knife in between those plates, it'll
Yeah,
go in, I assume. Like you could do some
but it's
damage.
not that great in that sense. Well, I guess that's where spraying it actually helps then in a
And
way,
also,
because
it's cool that Batman is vulnerable, right? Because I don't want him to be like Iron Man. I don't want him to be invulnerable. I don't want him to like not
true.
have to worry. Like what the thrilling part of Batman is that he has no powers, is that he's so vulnerable, is that he has to rely on stealth and speed and skill, and he can't just like bulldoze his way in. I like that.
Yeah, me too. Like he's got the a bit of tech, but the tech is more grounded, right? And it's to protect him away from the fact that he is just a dude in a suit.
Now, this guy here, do you know him?
No.
The actor's name is Mark Boone Jr. And before this film, he worked with Nolan on Memento.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
running the motel.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he's also been in
Oh,
Sons of Anarchy. I haven't watched that.
I haven't seen that either.
He was in Die Hard 2. I've seen the movie, but
Huh.
I don't remember him in it. He was in Seven. I've seen the movie, don't remember him. And he was in Too Fast, Too Furious,
The
which
original?
I don't even know if I've seen the movie because I don't know what Too Fast, Too Furious is. Obviously, I know it's a Fast and Furious movie, but I don't know which one it is. They sort of all blur together.
I think it's two, isn't it?
Is it?
Because they've made like eight now or something, or nine or something. It's like a big collection.
So it
But I
wasn't
thought, yeah,
just
I thought
called
that's what they did.
Fast
They
and the
made it Fast
Furious
and
2.
Furious.
Okay.
Yeah, but they were like too fast, too furious.
That
I
was
don't
the
know. I
one
think
in
that's kind of
Tokyo,
cool,
wasn't
actually,
it?
that they did that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I actually have never seen, I'm gonna have to make a confession. I've never seen any of the Fast and Furious movies. I'm
Oh.
neither fast nor furious, but I should do really at some point for the experience. But it's never really appealed to me,
I
honestly.
saw a few of them, but they get progressively more and more ridiculous to the point
Yeah.
where I'm just like, I'm out. Like my favorite was the first one. Of the ones I saw was the first one because even though that's exaggerated but it was like just barely within the realms of believability. The ending, it's crazy. They have like a harpoon, that's the word I was thinking. Like they have a harpoon that they fire into a truck from a moving car to hijack the truck. It just becomes ridiculous.
That's totally legit. What are you talking about?
But that was at the end of the first film. The majority of the film isn't like that. And I enjoyed the first film, but like and I think I like the second film, but not as much as the first film. But I think from three onwards, perhaps, it just kind of got silly. I don't know if I got to four or five or somewhere like that, and I sort of dropped out. But I heard in one of them they were like racing on the moon or something. I don't know if
That's
it's true.
insane.
Yeah,
Oh man.
it just got silly. But he started, Mark Boone Jr., he started out as a stand-up comedian.
This guy?
Yep. And he was
Oh,
friends with Steve Buscemi, and they were comedians together, apparently.
that's interesting.
Mark Boone Jr. is playing Flash, and he is a character created by Frank Miller again, but in year one. So that was like 1987. And it's interesting because he looks nothing like Flash from the comics. Flash in the book is a ex-Marine. He's extremely fit, tall, and has, I think he has like close cropped blonde hair as well. And he's clean shaven.
Huh. So
So
literally
nothing
the total
visually
opposite to this
alike.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing visually alike. But they're kind of the same sort of character. Like they're both bent cops. They both don't like Gordon. They're both Gordon's partner. Like it's basically the same, but just visually different. I feel like this visual representation fits better.
Yeah, I mean, this guy looks like what you always imagine an American cop to look like, actually, right?
Yeah,
To
especially
be
like a
fair.
bent American cop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like with his donuts and everything.
And Gordon will not take money from Flass.
Yeah. That's a cool shot of him, actually.
He looks just like he's stepped out of Batman Year One. Like with the mustache, the glasses, the hair, everything. It's just like
Yeah.
that's Gordon from Year One. In the unproduced Batman Year One, 18 rated or R rated movie, and Frank Miller worked on that. And in that version of the script, Gordon in this was like suicidal because of not being able to handle the corruption in the police department because he was literally the only honest cop on the entire force.
Oh
And
man.
they were making his life so miserable. There's a scene where he's like sitting on the toilet in his boxers in his apartment with a gun in his mouth and he's
Oh
contemplating
shit.
suicide. Yeah, it was so dark, that movie. And the director was going to be Darren Aronofsky. And he said quite recently, actually, he's like, the movie would never get made, he said. He's like, there's no way Warner Brothers was going to greenlight an R-rated Batman movie.
They
And
potentially would now.
uh, like an
Oh
Elseworld
man.
story, perhaps. I don't think they would have the DCU Batman like that.
No, no, no.
And I don't even know if they'd want to do another Elseworld Batman because I kind of feel like James Gunn, he would prefer to have just his own DCU Batman and not have to deal with like this Elseworlds version, as they're now calling it.
Do you think so?
I think so. I don't think they want to have like multiple Batmen and multiple Supermen
Batman.
and all that sort of stuff. I think they just want one and they want a big connected universe, you know. But the problem for James Gunn is the Batman was a huge success and the Penguin series was a huge success, critically and commercially. So
That's good though.
he can't really cancel it. Like, even though he is running DC on film, I guess he could, but it's not a good look, is it? If he just shuts it down when there's
Yeah, yeah.
no
Oh, that would
actual
be
reason to
stupid.
shut it down.
Well, especially because Warner just want to make some cash now, like I
Yeah,
think
like
if it makes cash, which it obviously will, then do it right. I mean, I still don't understand the obsession with having everything all unified and everything. I think it just doesn't make
yeah,
sense
I
to me.
don't
Like
like it myself.
it just doesn't make sense, does it? Like what is I mean, well, I do get it. I get why they want to do it, but
Some comic book
because
fans want that, right? But I feel like people increasingly don't want that anymore because they've
exactly,
seen what's
that's
happened
exactly
to
what I think.
Marvel
Yeah.
and they see where it ends up and they're like, well, it's good for a while and then it's not. And then it becomes like an albatross. And I think a lot of people are tired of that now. Now people want standalone stories. I know I certainly do. And I've always been against Batman existing in the same world as superheroes, like Superman. I don't want to see that. We've seen it. We've seen two versions now, kind of. We've seen the Ben Affleck version, and we've seen the Michael Keaton version in The Flash.
Yeah.
And in both occurrences, you run into the same problems. You have Batman essentially relegated to sitting in the cockpit of a vehicle of some kind. So it's either a big tank or a Batmobile or a Batwing, and it means he's firing his machine guns and rockets at an alien or a robot or something like that. And that's not interesting to me. That's boring. I don't want to. I want to see Batman dealing with street level crime. That's more thrilling to me than just watching him mow down CGI creatures. And it makes him look impotent compared to Superman because you've got Superman who doing everything with his bare hands, and Batman is relying on a vehicle and he's just stuck in his vehicle all the time. Like you look at Ben Affleck's Batman and he's fighting like he does fight like basically the grunts of the army. But when it comes to like the big bad, well, Batman can't handle that, so we have to let Superman step in. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
well, who wants to see that? Like, I don't know why anyone wants to see that. Like, Batman works best against humans. That's that's where he belongs, in my opinion. And what you do in a comic, I don't think works in a film. There's things in a comic, you can do crazy things in a comic or a cartoon or even a video game that you can't do in a film. The scene that's coming up when Bruce Wayne is in the bat suit with his balaclava on and he jumps across that roof and he barely makes it. And that to me is more thrilling than anything I've seen in a Marvel film because that's a real man making that jump who could fall and die. And
Yeah.
that's,
It's fragile.
yeah, and that makes it more exciting than just seeing someone get thrown into a building, but it doesn't hurt him.
Yeah, and the
You know,
building just comes tumbling down and all that stuff.
yeah, to me, when that all happens, my brain just switches off. Like every time that happens in a comic book movie, you get to the end of the movie and you have your big CGI battle at the end, and my brain just goes click, and I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm just out every time. Because and
Yeah.
they go on and on and on, don't they? You get like 15 to 20 minutes of it as well.
They must
Instead
spend
of
so
like,
much money on it as well. It's just
yeah,
like, yeah,
they
you
don't
guys.
seem to like, for me, less is more. I think back to like Superman 2, and Superman's having his fight with Zod and uh, Ursa and Nom, and that battle is fairly brief in the city, and you're being shown nice little visual gags constantly. So at one point, someone picks up a bus and throws it, or they pick
Oh
up a
yeah.
manhole cover and throw it into him, or he like they blow over a telephone box, and the guy's still inside trying to make a call. Silly things like that. But it's different. You're being shown different things visually, and it's interesting, and it's fairly brief. Whereas in modern superhero films like Man of Steel, it's just two powered people punching each other in the face for 15 minutes, and they're smashing into lots of grey concrete buildings over and over and over again.
And then
It,
there's still not really any resolution from all of that anyway.
Yeah, it's like it's
Yeah.
interesting for the first like 2 or 3 minutes, but when you get to like past 5 minutes, I start to tune out because I'm like, okay, I've seen this though. I've seen you punch him into that wall 5 times now. How many more times are you going to punch each other into this building? Like it just it's boring.
I agree.
But thankfully, Batman
Yeah.
largely avoids that because his
Yeah.
battles are more down to earth. So I assume this is the next day, right? That Bruce visits Lucius again, tells him he's interested in base jumping this time.
And of course he
And
doesn't believe him.
yep, obviously. In fact, he says to him, like, look, don't treat me as an idiot, right? Lucius shows him this memory cloth. He says the molecular structure changes when an electrical current is supplied. What do you think about that, Shenmue? Do you buy that or not?
I feel like it's a bit crazy, but it is kind of like, you can kind of, I think you can kind of go with it, right? Like you
I go with
see,
it.
yeah, Like it obviously, as far as I'm aware, there's nothing like this that actually does exist, but
I
you can
googled
kind of
it.
see. Oh yeah?
Apparently, it does not exist, but it feels like it could exist to me. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like beyond the realms of possibility.
Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of
So
cool how he demonstrates it, right?
yeah, and so even though it's not something that we have just yet, it feels like it's just around the corner. Like if something like this came out, I would not be a bit surprised, you know? Like it really does feel like the very near future.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm willing to go with this. I can easily go with this. I mean, we have seen Batman's cape turn into a kind of glider in the other films, actually. So in the first Burton film, it does appear glider-like in one scene in Access Chemicals, but when you look closely, he has a line connected to his belt, so it looks like he's going along a kind of pulley system or something like that, but it's
Yeah.
just out of shot. But the cape itself, when he's gliding, it does look like a glider. Like it looks rigid, but it's not actually doing it on its own. He is on a line. But then in Batman Returns, he does have a glider. I don't quite know how that works. It's one of those scenes where I've watched it over and over again over the years. And even now, I'm not quite sure what I'm actually seeing in that because he sort of this big rigid glider appears out of nowhere on his back and he dives off the rooftop. He glides over Gotham Plaza. He then lands on the ground, goes into like a roll on the ground, comes back up out of the roll. The glider is gone and he's back into a cape mode again.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
It's like, where does that
know.
thing go?
I can buy into this. I can't buy into that in Batman Returns. And then in the Schumacher films, they do actually glide with a cape. It doesn't appear to be going rigid though. Somehow it's able to defy the laws of gravity.
Yeah, I
And
like
then
how they put a lot of thought into this one.
in the Batman, he has a wingsuit. It's actually the only one that's actually based in reality because wingsuits do exist.
Yeah.
The sequence is very cool where he jumps off the roof of police headquarters and he's going at terrific speed. And then he deploys a parachute to slow his descent. And he actually deploys it at the worst possible time because he gets hooked on a bridge. And then he almost kills himself, crashes into a bunch of big
Yeah.
trash cans. And it looks like he hurts himself. That wingsuit, it doesn't look as cool because he looks more like a squirrel, like when he's flying, than he does a
Yeah.
bat. Whereas the Nolan one, he looks cool, but it's also like I buy into it in this version.
Yeah.
This is my personal favorite version of showing Batman gliding with his cape out of all of them so far.
I still don't know how he would assemble this though as that because it's just any old shape, right?
Any structure that's tailored to a rigid skeleton. So he
Yeah.
demonstrates it with
Like a tent.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
but don't you think that Batman, right, in this reality, right, with all this tech and everything that he's getting, he's going to need, like, especially because he's not making the Bat versions of stuff in this, like, here, right? He's meant to be making it back at the Batcave with, like back there, basically. How is he managing to just do that, the two of them? Like, don't you think in real life they'd need a bit of a team of people helping them out? I know they're buying some stuff from, different places and things like that. But like, I don't know, like with this one, for example, it makes me think you would need more, like it'd be possible with that technology, but you need a team of people to assemble this thing to make it in that shape, right?
it seems that what's going on to me is that he has these sort of rigid spines material woven into his cape, into the
Yeah.
fabric.
I was assumed he would just have like a something in his suit, like a little box or something that just can shoot, that's just connected,
Like
and
a
he
little
just flips a
battery.
switch. Yeah, so exactly, yeah. And he just flips a switch or whatever, and it just like he just sends the jolt of electric that way, right? I don't think he'd use a hand. I think this is just an example of using the hand to
But
show it.
they're like, right, okay. So those gloves that you see in the screenshot there, you don't think he's wearing those gloves when he's
I
Batman?
don't think so, no. I mean, possibly, but I just don't. I thought that was just a demonstration of how the jolting's
Oh,
working
I
rather
thought
than.
that's what it was. The glove itself is got like a small battery in it. Because I don't think it takes a lot of electricity. It just needs like a small battery somewhere on the glove,
Yeah.
like is on each
But why
glove.
use a glove when you can use like why
That's
have to
true.
touch the cape when you could just flip a switch or whatever, right? Or whatever in your pocket
But when
or
he
whatever it would be.
glides, when we see him gliding later in the film, his hands are holding the cape, right, on either side.
Maybe you're right then.
So I'm
Maybe you do
thinking
need to use them.
and then when he lets go of it, then it goes like back to its cape form, like it's
Yeah, maybe you're right then. But surely if he touches any person or something,
no,
then
because
he's
he
going to
has to
electrocute them.
actually no, because he has to activate the gloves somehow.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he
Man, that
activates
would
the
be
gloves,
dangerous though. Imagine he needs to go to the washroom, right?
but I think it's such a low current. I don't think it's
I know,
like.
but you still don't want to, you don't want to have an accident, right? Too dangerous. It seems like it's not good
I
health and
think it's a
safety, man.
very, very low current that it wouldn't probably do. And his gloves are insulating himself, right? Anyway,
True.
and his whole
Yeah.
suit's insulated, right? I don't know where the battery is. I'm assuming it's on the glove itself. Like each glove
Yeah.
contains a small battery, and maybe like he charges. Maybe he has to put the gloves on charge like every time he
He
uses
puts
it.
into a glove dock when he gets back.
Yeah, he just docks his gloves and they're just charging up. He plugs a USB-C cable into them or something, and then they're charging. I don't
I mean, back
know.
then it would have been micro USB or something, right?
Yeah, because I can't see him like running a cable from the gloves like through the suit
Yeah.
and down to the belt or something with a battery pack on the back of the belt or something. I can't see that. I think the gloves must contain a battery,
Mm,
right? That's my
yeah.
guess. Like a very small battery that provides like 3 volts or something, like very low voltage.
Yeah, it wouldn't be very much.
I wonder if we put more thought into than the filmmakers ever did, you know?
Probably, yeah. They were just like, oh, look, this is a cool glove. It's got some electric. Touch the thing.
So the tumbler Shenmue,
Yeah.
built as a bridging vehicle. Now, I've got a complicated history with this vehicle. My opinion has changed over time. Has your opinion changed? Are you consistent
I don't
with your
think it has
opinion?
stayed the same for me. I've had a few different feelings about this thing over the years, right? And I feel like for a long time, I was kind of quite negative about it because I think it is crazy to have such a big vehicle and like it's just not I know it's not going to be subtle, right? But there's subtle and then there's just like and it's just so obvious. It would be so obviously from Wayne Enterprises, right? Because they've made this thing. I
Yeah,
suppose it wasn't public, but still.
here's the thing, right? There's a guy, isn't there, Mr. Reese, and he tries to blackmail Bruce Wayne. Pay me
Mm,
this money, otherwise I'm going public and I'm going to tell the whole world that you've been grabbing Wayne Tech and using it as Batman, right?
yeah,
And that character disappears, right, with his demands. But here's the thing: this vehicle was built for the military, right? And there must have been, I assume, dozens, if not hundreds of people within Wayne Enterprises alone that saw this vehicle, that saw
exactly. Yeah.
there's not just the engineers that worked on it and the technicians, but there's the legal departments, there's the like the marketing, there's the people that set the corporate side. There's the people like I mean, you got the entire board of Wayne Enterprises must be aware of it, right? There's so many
Yeah,
people that are aware of
exactly.
this vehicle,
It's
and
too
then
risky,
and
isn't
then
it?
there's the military, right? How many in the military, like the generals and the military procurement for the government, how many people on that end saw this vehicle, saw specs of it, saw videos of it, demonstrations of it, etc., right? There must be literally hundreds, if not thousands, of people that are aware of this vehicle's existence, right? And then we know they didn't go ahead of it, but they must have seen it, right, at some point. And so when you see it later in the film, and it's on the news, and obviously it's sprayed black, but it's clearly the same vehicle, right? All those people are going to be like, "That's the Wayne Enterprises vehicle, right?"
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it may
And
as well have a Wayne Enterprise logo on it at that point, you know? It's just
yeah,
like,
So they, someone's gonna, more than one person, right, is going to be like, "That's Wayne Enterprises." That leads back to Wayne Enterprises. The very next day, the police are going to be turning up at Wayne Enterprises making inquiries, right? They're like, "One of your vehicles was being driven by a vigilante known as Batman last night, and we want to know what's going on, right?" And then Lucius has got to do what? Does he report it as stolen, right? And then,
yeah,
and if he does, then he has to say, well, how do you explain how someone stole a vehicle from your company? How did they get it out? They're going to ask to see, the police are going to ask to see CCTV.
yep.
Does Bruce Wayne delete all the footage off the service,
I
right?
mean, maybe,
Does
yeah.
he do that? Like, I assume he would, right? But then the police are like, okay, so someone's broken into Wayne Enterprises. How did they do that? How did they bypass the security systems? Did they have access to codes and because this isn't like, I'm assuming you've got to have key cards, right? Fingerprint scanner. Who knows how much security, right? Just to get in there, and then you get back out of it with the vehicle, and you got to disable all the cameras, delete all the footage, possibly, and then how do you get past all the security personnel there? And
Yeah.
drive it out of there. Like, there's so many questions that you just think, what is going on? And then you would think, if I'm the police investigating, I'm like, well, if he stole the vehicle, what other things have gone missing? Let's look at all the books. Let's look at all the inventory
Yeah,
we've got.
yeah,
Are there any
exactly.
other missing
Yeah.
items? And then how long before they're like, the suit's missing, the memory cloth's missing, the belt's missing, the grapple gun's missing? How long before all that comes to light? It's just a house of cards, right? Just waiting to come down.
Why I think I felt quite negative about it over the years because I was like, it just doesn't, in a film where everyone's like, oh, this is so realistic and like it, it's so grounded and you can kind of see how this all happened. And a lot of stuff is, but this is one of those parts of it where you're like, I don't know, man, like this is crazy to me.
Hmm.
It's just like it's too obvious. Like it doesn't look like anything else, right? It's so its own thing. But I have to say, it is kind of cool in its own way. It doesn't scream Batmobile to me whatsoever, but it's still kind of a cool vehicle though, right? It is, even though I guess that's more of a recent me, the one that's kind of less bothered about it now, like after so many years, but like it is kind of a cool vehicle, I think.
When I first saw it, I was very negative about it. I just thought this thing looks ridiculous. The front looked like tires from like a Formula One car,
Yeah.
and then the back looked like tires from a tractor. And it looked like someone had just got like two model kits, or two different vehicles, and just smashed them together. And it looked like a Frankenstein's monster to me. And I just thought it was grotesque. And it didn't feel like the only thing that felt like a Batmobile was the back, the exhaust where the fire comes out.
Yeah.
Like everything
Yeah.
else, I was like, there's no bat motif, there's no
Yeah, right,
like,
yeah.
and this just didn't scream Batmobile to me. And so I was very, very negative on it. And I was like that for years and years and years. And then I don't know why, but just one day I was just like, you know what? It's really grown on me.
Mm.
And then I was like, it's fine. And then a few more years go by, and then I'm like, it's kind of cool. And a few more years go by, and now I love it. I'm still like, it is a weird design that's
It is. It's very
like,
weird. It's amazing how time can really change stuff like
yeah,
that, right? So when you've got other stuff that's come out, right, since then, and it as well. So it's not like that's it now, like that's all it could ever look like, right? There's been other interpretations.
yeah. Oh,
No,
and it,
I think I feel the same really. I feel like it's actually kind of cool. It's quite unique.
oh, very unique.
And I think and that's another thing. I mean, maybe it's just because like vehicles in general have been so similar for many years. I mean, that's why I'm personally a fan of the Cybertruck, right? Like, I feel like it's a really cool, different vehicle that looks different from everything else. And maybe that's the same for this. It's because it actually does look different to everything else. So it's more interesting to me now.
Did you notice that the way of accelerating on this thing is with a lever, not a pedal?
I didn't even think about
Does
that.
that not feel a little counterproductive?
Because you
Right.
need to
If
use
you're
your hands for the wheel, right?
right, so you're taking one of your hands off the wheel to accelerate or decelerate.
But for
Mm.
this one, it feels like it was because it's like you're almost like you want to set the speed, right? So that's why he kind of pushes it forward. It's almost like you're, instead of increasing the acceleration, you're almost setting what speed you want it to be, which again doesn't necessarily make sense.
You know, the only other vehicle in Batman had
Oh man, yeah.
the Batman Forever Batmobile. He's
Yeah.
there he goes. Look, he's
Yeah, there
accelerating,
he
he
is.
pulls it back. But yeah, I just thought that's interesting, right?
What is this footage?
Oh, this is when they were building the tumbler, like they were testing it.
Oh man. It's cool that they actually built it.
So it apparently weighed 2.5 tons. It's 9.4 feet wide
Wow, that is wide.
and 15 foot long.
Oh,
It's
look at that.
it's part of a scene. It wasn't a screw up, like testing it as for a scene when he does actually do that for real in the movie.
Don't you think it looks a bit like the Shagohod from, because you've just played Metal Gear Solid
Snake Eater.
Snake Eater recently, right? It's a little bit like a mini Shagohod, right?
Um,
It looks a bit Shagohody to me.
does it?
A little bit, like a smaller one.
I don't know. I don't see it.
I think it really does look like it actually quite a lot. Because isn't that also a bit like that with the wheels? It's also quite clunky looking.
I'm trying to think. Maybe
It's
yeah.
bigger,
The
much
wheels at
bigger.
the
The
front,
Shagohod's
maybe
bigger.
yeah. Maybe at the front,
Yeah,
yeah. So they made several different vehicles for this. So we're in the movie. You're not just seeing one. So there's a
right.
cockpit. There's a cockpit designed specially for Christian Bale to get into, so it looks like the Batmobile on the inside. But inside this, the drivable version, it's kind of like a roll cage in there just for a stuntman to drive, and he's got his bottle
Right.
of flame retardant spray in there in case he catches on fire or something, and something goes wrong.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
they had one that was built specifically that could do a jump. So yeah, there was different ones that could do different things, and then there's the hero version where it's drivable, but it's specifically designed just to drive at speed and look like the film version, like exteriorly it looks just like hey as you see it in the film.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cheating, It's like it's not like they built this one vehicle that could do everything you see in the film, It's not real. It's not how they did it.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense though. I think they do that a lot with models like this, right?
So
Or
the
vehicles and
the
stuff.
the previous Batmobiles though, in like the Burton ones and the Schumacher ones, they had fiberglass bodies, whereas this was actually metal.
Oh.
And those flaps you see there on the back of it, the idea of this is it's designed to allow wind to push the vehicle down and achieve greater velocity.
Hmm.
I don't really buy that bit though, because it's such like the shape of it is so not aerodynamic, is it? Like, at all. I can't imagine those flaps doing that much.
Yeah. It's just detailing, really,
I
isn't it, at
think
this
it
point?
is really. I mean, that's the
What's the
kind of
technique? There's a proper term for this when you like you get something big, like they do it in spaceships and stuff in movies, right? And then they put detailing on there that doesn't really mean anything. It's just to make it look more
it.
functional. I forgot the
Yeah,
term.
it sells the idea that this thing
Yeah,
is actually a very complex machine, that's got all
yeah,
these working parts and things. So you do actually see the flaps move in certain shots in the film, like before he's going to start his jump on one of the rooftops. He does actually change the configuration of the flap. So the idea is it's pushing the wind down on it so that it can achieve a greater velocity quickly so it can make the jump.
yeah.
That's what's supposed to be
Do you
happening.
think it was just like remote control or something
They
in the
probably
movie?
no, I think they probably had it all rigged up in there so the stuntman could like turn a knob and it was probably hydraulic or something that would. It's probably
Yeah, yeah.
some airline going to it or something to activate it,
Man,
perhaps.
that's a lot of work they put in, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, this was the beginning of all that because they did something similar with the Snyder Batmobile, and then again on the Batman, they did something similar again where they like all those three versions, they're building a car that, or at least a stunt version of the car that can drive at speed, that you can put stuntman
Yeah.
in, and you can take it out on the road and stuff. Whereas they never did that before this movie.
Oh, this is Blade Runner, isn't it?
It is. If you look at the front of that vehicle,
Oh man.
it's got no axle look.
Yeah.
And we know that Nolan's a big fan of Blade Runner. And I'm thinking that that's where Nolan got his idea for the tumbler having no front axle.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Because it was Nolan's idea about that. He went to Nathan Crowley, the production designer, and he was like, I want it to be literally a mesh, a fusion of a Lamborghini and a Humvee. That's what he said to
I
Nathan
mean,
Crowley.
it is that actually, when you think about it. That is, it kind of is,
Yeah.
that is kind of what you get. I mean, it's more
But
Humvee than Lamborghini, but it still is,
yeah.
it's kind
But
of a
you look at
result.
this vehicle here, and it does look very Tumblr-like, doesn't it? Apart from the
It
fact that
does
it's
a bit.
flying.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Do you have a favorite Batmobile, Shenmue?
Hmm. Um, because I feel like, because I like the practicality of, I don't know, actually. I need to think about this.
Do you want to know mine while you're thinking?
Yeah. Ah, yeah.
That is my favorite, and I think it always will be my favorite. It's
Yeah, I thought you
just
might say that.
it's just perfect. Particularly for the Burton film, Like maybe not in our world, maybe not in like the realistic world of the Batman or even Nolan's one, but like in Burton's one, I'm just like that is the definitive Batmobile to me. What more do you want from this thing? It's sleek. It looks like what you would imagine a Batmobile to be. It looks cool, doesn't it? It's just
It does look
definitive.
cool.
It's
And it
just
looks
definitive.
real as well, unlike when you showed the Forever one before, right? I
Yeah,
feel like
that
that one
yeah.
doesn't look like a real vehicle that could go anywhere, right? In real life.
Because
Like,
no,
and it wasn't,
Burton's
right? Like you just,
Batmobile gets some flack these days, right? Because people are like, it was a joke. Like it looks cool, but in reality, it couldn't actually do anything, right? That's a real forest. That's a real road that they're driving along there.
yeah, yeah,
That
exactly. Yeah.
car is got that they've got that car up to speed.
Yeah, they have.
The only reason it
Yeah, I
looks
like that. At least it is still able to
yeah, the only reason it doesn't give that impression like in the other parts of the movies is because they're on sets. They didn't have enough set to get it up to speed, you know. Whereas like in the Nolan films and in the Batman, like they're taking these things out on real roads, you know, to film. Whereas with the first Burton, really this is the only scene where it's like on a real road and they're able to get it up to speed. So it can do it. And then another thing that sort of I think people have sort of misapplied to Burton's one is that he fires a grapple hook to go around a corner. And they're like, oh my God, what a joke. It can't even take a corner without a grapple hook. It's like, of course it can take a corner. It's just that the road was extremely slick that night
Mm.
with rain. And he was taking it at speed. And it's like he just wanted to take it super tight and not
Yeah, of
have to
course.
worry about it
Yeah.
possibly spinning out of it. It's like, and then we see all the Joker's cars like pursuing him, and they're all spinning out and crashing into other vehicles. So it's like, I just think it's people like misinterpreting the scene. There are some scenes when they film this Batmobile and it doesn't look its best, you know, like in all, whenever you do it, right? But like when it's filmed right, this vehicle, like in this shot, the Batmobile, this Batmobile is incredible.
In this shot, it does look amazing. Yeah. I mean,
And I don't know how you
it's
can
always been one of
possibly
my,
improve it. How do you
yeah.
improve that vehicle? You know,
Well,
how do you make it any better than that?
I actually do really like the Batman one, as in from the Batman, but I think it's a little bit more generic though, right? Like it's that
Mm.
maybe that's the problem with that. But I did, although I am a big fan of like American muscle car style, actually. Like I just love the look of that kind of thing where it's like very squarey looking, very like menacing.
So is that your
But
favorite?
well, that's the thing. I was kind of tossing up between. I mean, for me, it probably would between that and this one. But I don't know.
It's very custom, the car in the Batman, right? It's not off the shelf, is it? It is.
It's not, but it does look like. But then I think I do like that idea though of like it's basically using a regular. It probably you did use like a Dodge or something as a base point,
Mm,
and then did a lot of customizations and stuff to get that car, which is cool. I gotta say,
yeah.
I do love the look of that though.
I do like that he's got the ears there and he's put that microphone inside the ear.
Yeah, and I kind of like the like when he smashes up the thing as well, and it gets destroyed, and it's like, yeah, don't land on your head.
The first batch of cows from Singapore have arrived defective. Problem with the graphite, he said. I guess he should have bought American. But the next scene, which will be in our next episode, we see Batman for the first time. Do you think when he goes out that very first night as Batman, he's wearing a defective graphite cowl? Or do
Yeah,
you
I
think
do.
he
Yeah.
waits for another shipment to arrive, however many weeks that might take?
No, I think he's using the defective one. I
Do you
think he's
think
just gonna
so?
have to be extra careful. Yeah.
Because
But I
how
mean,
long
as
would
long
it
as you
take
don't
to
get
get a
like a
shipment?
mallet to your face or something like that, right? You should be all right, I guess. But it is a
Well,
bit dangerous.
yeah. I mean, yeah. If someone hits you over the back of the head with a baseball bat or something, or yeah.
Yeah,
So you don't
it
think he
is.
waited then for a new shipment to arrive? You think
I
he went out
maybe.
like that?
But like if he knows if he knows that like she's in danger and everything, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. You see him first of all at the docks, right? Well, I mean, I know we're getting ahead into the next episode, which you won't be on, but you see him at the docks, and then directly after that, same night, he does intervene and save Rachel. So,
Yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah.
now because he was
Yeah.
out there listening outside right, listening to their to Falcone and Flash's conversation, I guess he's like, well, I can't afford to wait for the
Yeah,
next shipment to
exactly.
arrive. So yeah, maybe he does. Maybe he
Just
does
has to
go
go
out
for
with.
it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
that's what I always imagined anyway.
I mean, if we go back to the old days of Batman in the comics, he just wore tights. You know, there's no armor of any kind, no protection of any kind.
Mm.
So he's just got a fabric mask
Which
on.
sounds
It's
incredibly dangerous.
yeah, but those were the days.
Yeah. Oh, I also really like how it shows the bit like you we was talking about before, where it shows the arm thing coming out, right? Like he's turning it on and off. You can't see how he does it though, I don't think, can you?
He's got a glove, and then
Mm.
the what will be the spines look like they're on the end, like on the end of the fingers. I'm thinking there's like pockets stitched into the cape in the inside lining of the cape, and the pockets on he has a pocket on either side with finger holes in the pockets, and he slides his hands into those pockets. So it's like putting another glove essentially over the gloves he's
Yeah.
wearing, and that's how he transfers the electrical
Yeah,
current,
yeah,
perhaps.
that makes sense. Yeah, but I like how it shows that kind of hint there to
Mm,
that. I think you might be right. I think that might be like his hands are kind of stashed, right?
yeah.
So I think that's probably what it is. But yeah, I like how they actually demonstrate it here, and it's like you can actually see it in action. Like, even though it's not the full thing, but you get the idea of, even though it already like explained it a little bit earlier, but you actually see it properly. Yeah, it's cool.
And also, he's got the belt there. He cuts the harness off, but he does not paint the belt black.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said it before,
Hmm.
right? I think like it's interesting, isn't it? That he keeps that's the only thing that's like it's a very bright gold as well. Interesting.
I think it's like a hard back, isn't it? Kind of thing, really,
Yeah,
rather
it's
than
it's
a
interesting that Nolan didn't want to go like full black because
yeah.
they did go full black. Do you know what film went full black? Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin. Batman's batsuit is fully black, like the symbol's black because we know you don't like yellow, and
Yeah.
the belt's black as well. It's like all black.
Yeah, that's how I like it.
So are we saying
I
that
mean, at least this
the
isn't yellow though,
batsuit?
right? It's gold, so I'm all right with this.
But are we saying that the batsuit from Batman and Robin is more realistic than the one from Batman Begins?
Color scheme wise, it seems like it, yeah.
Hot take.
You heard it here first, guys.
And finally, here we see like Bruce Wayne making his own batarangs, each one handcrafted on
Yeah,
like a lathe.
handcrafted. I feel like that's not going to be very sustainable if you. I guess he's just not going to want to use them, right? He's like, oh, should I? Oh no, wait, I'll have to make some more of these things.
Do you think after he's used them, he collects them up,
I would,
or do you think
like
he just
arrows
leaves
and all
them on
that
the
in a video
ground?
game. Yeah,
Yeah, like I wonder what he does about that. Like.
it looks very nicely made, though. I have to say, it's
Because if he
nicely
had a
crafted.
machine that's like just printing them out, right? Just like he's got like an assembly line going, you wouldn't bother, would you? Right? It's not a money issue; it's the time issue that he's
Yeah,
spending so
exactly.
long making these batarangs at the moment.
So silly that he does that, but I do think it's kind of cool. But it seems like
He has
very
another type as
unsustainable.
he has another type in the film as well, like a much thinner one, and it folds in half. It's got like a little hinge on it, and
Mm,
he folds them up and clips them like onto his belt. And I actually think like he uses those ones. I don't like much more than this one. Probably like maybe those other ones are cut out, but we just don't see it in this bit.
yeah,
Maybe this
but
is
that's
his
even more
prototype.
work.
Maybe he does this one. He does like one. He's like, you know what? I'm not doing anymore. There's got to be an easier
Yeah.
way. But that's a deleted scene. Like he's just like, there's no way I'm doing this all night long. Rachel's going to be murdered by the time I cut these
Yeah,
batteries out.
no. I mean, couldn't he have got Alfred to do it for him, you know?
But I guess so you could get a sweatshop going, right? Over in
Oh man.
like get it done abroad, right? Just get it
Imported
anonymous.
in.
Yeah, like someone's just like, why are we making all these like back shaped? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's gonna obviously he's gonna have to sort something out like better than this, right? At some point,
I guess it's a prototype, right? I guess, yeah.
that could be what's going on, right? He makes a prototype first, and then like he can then mass produce it somehow later on. Maybe
Yeah.
he's waiting for more machinery to be delivered and stuff. Who knows?
Yeah.
Funny, isn't it, how this film gets you thinking about things that like
They
in
probably
their
didn't
kind
even
of.
think of when they made it. It's
Yeah,
just
but
like
it gets you thinking to a level of detail that, like, maybe even as a fan, you don't really think about it. Like
true.
in the past, like when as a Batman fan, and you watch the other movies, you think, well, he's got the money, he's got the resources, he must pay people anonymously. He sets up some kind of untraceable credit line or something, and he has people like make things for him, and he just arranges collection. That's how I assumed things was done. It shows the level of obsession that he's at, right? Because he could have just bought Shuriken, right, somewhere online on the dark web or something. He
Oh
buys
yeah,
like
you're
all
right.
these a box of shuriken, right? But he's like, no, it has to be bat shaped. And like he's just so obsessed with this image, this creature, this creation that he's bringing forth. But it just shows you like what's on his mind, like where he's like willing to like do this himself, even though it's totally unnecessary. Because not everything has to be bat shaped, right? But you don't need shuriken to be bat shaped.
No, that's true. Yeah, and but then that's further kind of it kind of details even more like how weirdly obsessed he is in general, right? About all this stuff. Like it's
Mm,
yeah, I kind of like that because it's almost like well, it is not almost like it is to an unhealthy level, right? Like he's
yeah.
unhealthily obsessed with this stuff.
Mm,
But I like that.
yeah, me too.
That's pretty cool, actually.
So that's it, Shemu. That is the end of our extra long episode,
Yeah, there was a
December
lot to
episode.
unpack there, though. There was a lot in that fairly small time, really. It was like boom, boom, boom. But yeah, it's
Yes.
been
So,
really interesting though to go through a lot of this stuff. Like I think the build up is really good, right? Like it is actually it's quite well done on this movie. It's like it really I mean, I know that's something that like you don't get very often either, right? The kind of like the
yeah,
beginning as it's
and you don't really want it like,
no, you don't want it too much, right? Otherwise you're like, yeah, I've seen this before.
yeah, I wouldn't want it in like every superhero film, like,
Oh
and
no.
I think with Batman though, there's something about it where you do want it at least once, right? You do want it because you're like, cause, especially because he is a normal guy, you're like, yeah, how does this guy do these things and how does he get going and things like that. It's an interesting story, and it's. I'm glad it's been told, and it feels like the definitive origin as well. I really don't think you can do it much better than this. Do you?
No, I guess not. No, you're right. Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, maybe yeah, I think it's really well done. Like, yeah, I don't think we need it again, not for a while anyway. I'm sure that somebody will do it again in the future, but you know, like after so much time's passed, they might do a slightly different take on it or whatever, a different kind of impression.
Hmm,
Especially because you know how like Batman itself has changed over the years, right, and become
that's
different
true.
kind of
I
layers
feel
of.
like it would have to be a long, like a long time though, like
I agree.
decades,
Yeah.
because you've got to have things progress to a point where society and technology has changed so far where it would be a different way of going about it. Because the cool thing about Batman is because he is human, but he has access to all that money, he's always going to be kind of like James Bond. He's always going to be like at the forefront of technology and using that. And so, in the future, you might have things like a stealth suit, for example, where you can sort of blend in with your environment. And, decades from now, you might believe it, because technology would have advanced enough.
Mm,
You might have a flying Batmobile, like in the cartoon, like in Batman Beyond. Like we might have vehicles that can fly, um, and maybe he does have something like that where like so the Batmobile is now a combination of the Batwing and the Batmobile is all one vehicle now in the future, like Batman Beyond. Like we don't know, do we? Like what they could do.
yeah, and I think it would be so far beyond, like you say, it's like it would be impossible to predict.
Yeah,
Because things change massively in certain areas and don't change at all in other areas, right? And it's always the areas that you think will change don't, and the other way around, right? Like it's kind of funny.
yeah,
Like when you look at older movies or whatever, and they do the sci-fi of like what the future's going to be like, and it's just totally different.
yeah.
But apart from iPads on
Hmm.
Star Trek. But yeah, no, I think it's I don't think there's any need to do it anytime soon, though. And I think it was kind of funny that it was James Gunn, right, that recently said like I'm like he's basically sick of seeing like origin stories for these things, and it's like better to just even if you are doing a new
Yeah. Like he did
restart on
with
it.
Superman or
Yeah,
Matt Reeves did with Batman. Like we don't need to do the origins again for those characters. Same with Spider-Man. They're so well known that there's no need to do it again anymore.
Yeah.
Because remember with Amazing Spider-Man, they did do the origin again, and everyone hated it because we felt like we just did this, and they did. They literally, I think it wasn't even a decade, was it? Like I can't remember the years off the top of my head, but it felt very close to the Sam Raimi ones when he was like, we just did this
I
like a
don't think
few
it was a
films back.
decade.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it was a
it was
decade.
too close, and it didn't bring any, it didn't add anything to it. It wasn't. It was just like this was just it's so unnecessary. When Snyder did it in Batman v Superman, and he had that, it was a short sequence at the beginning of the movie, and you see his parents get shot again, and it's just like, oh, not again. Yeah, and that was just the shooting, but even that, it was just like, oh, not again because it's just been done and done and done. It was done by Burton, it was done by Schumacher, it's been done by Nolan. It'd already been done three times in all three iterations, and then it was done the fourth time. It's like we don't need we don't even need to see the like a sec see him get shot, do we? That's why I'm glad the Batman did not do that.
Yeah, I'm glad about. Yeah, that's true. There was nothing like that in there, was there? I think that's what made it feel so fresh, actually, because it did feel fresh, didn't it? Even
Yeah.
though it's, yeah, that's true. It's
It was
completely
nice that
different.
it was just like, well, Matt Reeves very aware of what's gone before, and he was just like, all that stuff's great, so there's no need to repeat it. I'm aware of it, the audience is aware of it. Let's just do something different because there's more to say about the character.
Yeah, and I think that's what he did really, really well with that film.
Yeah,
And it was still a long film, even though,
yeah,
but it didn't have anything like that in there at all.
yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah. So this has been a great episode, Chenmo. I've enjoyed recording it.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah,
All right, so
yeah.
we'll see you in the new year now when Coob returns, and we'll cover Batman's first night. Thanks for listening, guys.